Morning, y'all. Happy Saturday morning. Got my hot cup of tea here. I'm actually in Klamath Falls, Oregon, Southern Oregon, where I grew up. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours away from Roseburg. So if any of you guys and gals are familiar with Oregon, Roseburg's on the west coast, or not the west coast, the west side of the Cascades. And Klamath Falls is just right on the east side of the Cascades. So we've got snow over here, which is cool. A bunch of people piling in here, dozens of people already piling in here. What's up, y'all? I'm going to be starting today's epic planning call, and I've been getting lots and lots of feedback. Just putting some tea inside of here because I was up late last night getting some of these slides prepped because I didn't do any work at all this past week. I was on vacation with my family down here for Christmas, and I started to catch like a little bit of a I hardly ever get sick, and haven't been sick in ages and ages. And since I've been doing the things I'm going to be talking about today on this call, since I've been doing these things, my health has been way better. My energy has just been spot on. And then get around a bunch of sick kids for a week, and then stay up until 3:30 in the morning to get some slides done, and wake up this morning with a scratchy throat. So hopefully I don't lose my voice today. I've been known to do that. What's up, y'all? But I've got my tea with me, got a big old cup of water with me. All kinds of stuff. So I'm pumped about today. If you guys and gals can do this, I know we're straight up 9 o'clock Pacific time now. First of all, I'm just grateful that so many of you are showing up on a Saturday morning, the Saturday morning between Christmas and New Year's. And I know there's a lot of people on social media, people on Facebook, on Instagram that were hitting me up saying, hey, I'm going to be there. So this is always one of my favorite calls of the year. It's a chance where I get to dive in and just share everything that I'm doing from a personal level. There's nothing for sale on these calls. It's just straight up me sharing every single thing that I'm doing. And as far as the background, you guys are probably wondering, hey, this is not a background I've ever seen before. This right here is actually my parents' vacation house. Mine is right next door, but I'm not over there because I've got my wife and my 3 kids over there, and my parents happen to be open, so I popped over here and doing it in here, and it was freezing in here. So I turned on, like literally, this is how ghetto I am right now, y'all. I turned on the heat. I just got in here in about 15 minutes ago. It was freezing, so no one's been in here for a while. So I actually turned the burners on the stove for a little bit. I'm gonna turn them off here in a second. I needed to get some heat in the kitchen here. So if you guys can do this, if you guys can pop through the questions panel, there should be a little blue bubble in the bottom right of your screen. Pop through the questions panel if you can see me and hear me. Pop through the questions panel if you can see me and hear me. And also let me know where you're calling in from. Okay, there's already some people popping in here saying, what their goals are, why they're tuning in. One of them, hey, my goal is to increase deals 1x a month in addition to our other real estate investors would go along, or real estate activities would go a long way. Another one says, I want to set up my business foundation and really implement Krista Mayshaw's coaching program. So there's both agents and investors on here. And the cool thing about this call is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a plumber. It doesn't matter if you're a real estate investor. It doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent. What this call is for is principles that I use in business and life to not just plan an epic year, but I'm going to be walking you through some of the things I've done, some of the things that I did in 2018, the key lessons I learned as we were growing and scaling Carrot, as I'm growing a family. But let me know this, y'all. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. Where are you from, and what are you looking to get out of this call? Can you see me and hear me? A little quick tech check. Where are you calling in from, and what are you looking to get out of this call? Why did you show up on a Saturday morning on the West Coast anyway at 9 a.m. or Saturday afternoon at noon Eastern time? Why did you show up on this call, and where are you calling in from? It looks like there's a bunch of people saying that you can see me and hear me. Thank you. Awesome. I can see you and hear you from Telford, Pennsylvania. Beautiful. Thank you. What's up, Marcia? Marcia says, I can see you calling in from Dallas, Fort Worth. Awesome. Let me know why you guys and gals are showing up on this call, okay? I have another person. Hi from New Jersey. What's up? Let's see. Lisa. Awesome, Lisa. Thanks. Now looking to implement Krista Mayshaw's coaching program. She's an agent. Krista's crushing it with our agent clients. Philly in the house. What's up? Let's see. Got some Philly from Florida. New ideas. Kevin Clancy, longtime Carrot member. I love it. I'm just going to go through a few more. There's like dozens of them popping through. I can't get to them all. Hey, Trevor, Roger Blankenship here, Flipping America in Atlanta, Georgia. I love it, y'all. Let me know why you guys are calling in from. Make sure I can hit those hot buttons, okay? Can see you calling in from Maryland's Eastern Shore. What's up? Ryan, how's it going, man? Lots and lots of people. So it looks like you guys can see me and hear me calling in from Austin. I want to learn from someone who's been successful, how they plan the year for me. I'd love to get into owner financing world this year, something I really want to learn from. Owner financing is going to be huge, y'all. Owner financing, rent to own, all that's going to be huge this next year. Interest rates are pegged to go up, 2 to 4 times this next year. We're actually doing a big online summit. I've got a slide just to show you guys and gals this online summit. I have a big online summit January 9th and 10th with some of the country's largest real estate investors. We're going to do another one specific to agents later in the year. But in that summit, we're going to be talking about the strategies that the biggest investors in the country are shifting towards in the market. And one of them is really going after more owner finance and rent to own and just creative real estate. Okay. What's up? Says I love hearing successful people talk about what goes on behind the scenes. Hope to get you back on my show again very soon. I'd love to. I'd love to. Thanks, Roger. From Detroit. All right, I'm going to go through and blast through these really quick. If you guys can do this while I'm blasting through these really quick, because there's a ton of them. Calling from Slidell. I love it, Louisiana. If you guys can do this, grab something you can write with. Okay, grab something you can write with. Grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, whatever it's going to be that you can write with. Okay, I've got my iPad here next to me, and I've got my iPad Pro with my fancy Apple Pencil here. And I love it. It works great. Let me kind of hide this screen here so I'm using my laptop, y'all. Usually I use my big computer in my office, but I'm not in my office right now. So hopefully this works well. And then let me do this one thing to be able to show my laptop here in a second. Un momento. But if you guys can do this, if you guys and gals can, make sure that you grab a piece of paper. Okay, grab a piece of paper. Grab a pen, because I am going to be walking you through some exercises, and some of these exercises these exercises are the same ones that I go through, that I use in my own business. And also these exercises, they kind of go in a cadence. Okay, there's some of them that are specific for the year. There's some of them that are specific for the quarterly. There's some of them that are specific to the life planning. Okay, so I'm actually going to walk you through those. If you walk away from this call and you don't do any exercises, the thing that I'm going to be asking you is, what is the point for being on this call and investing this time? Okay, because and I know you're not going to be able to do all the exercises. I understand that you're not going to be able to do everything, but what I would love for you to do is pick 1, 2, 3 of these exercises, and then come back and execute the other ones over the coming weeks to plan out the year. So it looks like I'm not able to hook up my iPad to my laptop here for some reason. So we'll go with that. It's no big deal. It's not necessary. And I'm going to go ahead and get going, y'all. What's up, Brady? Yeah, Brady's on the Carrot team, says lots of comments coming through YouTube chat directly. So I'm not going to be able to look at the YouTube chat comments, y'all. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hop over to carrot.com/epic/live. Carrot.com/epic/live. That's where you're going to get the downloads for this call. I've got my brand new goal and habit tracker that I was inspired from a friend of mine, Matt Aitchison, that's been helping me crush it this year. I've got my Dreams Now worksheet I'm going to be walking through, my energy audit that helped change my life for the past 5, 6, 7 years. That's all at carrot.com/epic/live. So if you're on YouTube, go over to our site. That's where all the downloads are. And I'm not going to be able to engage in the comments over on YouTube because there's just so much going on. Okay. So someone says, how do we comment on the YouTube live right here? So, yep. If you are commenting in that blue box, y'all, you are in the right spot. All right. So there's a lot of stuff here, y'all. If someone on the Carrot team would be able to hop into Intercom and help me out here, that would be sweet. There's a lot of stuff in here. Maybe help me get through these initial ones. After the initial ones, I'm sure it'll slow down, which is awesome. You're in the right spot. Just a bunch of people asking if this is the right spot to get in. All right, cool. We're gonna dive in. So I'm gonna share my screen with y'all. All righty, let's see. What's up from Vegas, Mobile, Alabama, Kansas City, Baton Rouge, Marin County. I love it, y'all. People from all over North America, people from Canada on here, local Roseburg. I love it. What's up, JP? JP from Bainbridge Island, Washington on the West Coast. I think get ready to crush that 2019. All right, sweet. So let's do this. I'm going to share my screen right now. And with this share, I've got a bunch of slides. And here's the deal, y'all. What we're going to do today is I'm going to walk you through not just a process, and let me know if you guys can see my slides now, okay? Alex or Brady, can you guys see my slides? Are they showing up good? And I've got my tea over here. My nose is running a little bit because I caught a little cold yesterday, but I'm going to power through this with y'all. The first time I've been sick in like 6 months. But this right here is really how to make 2019 your best year yet, okay? And I want to walk through my newly improved annual planning process. It's something that updates every single year, like literally every year we iterate and adjust the planning process. If you're not iterating and adjusting your process on a yearly basis, then what happens is you're not innovating as you grow. And all of us are growing every single year. All of us are growing. And our businesses might be growing, our needs might be growing, our phase of life is changing. And if we're not changing the way that we're doing our planning slightly, it doesn't have to change drastically, but it should improve, then we're probably not really planning the best that we could. So one thing that we're going to be doing during this call is I'm going to be giving away some books, and we're going to be doing it through social media. And I'm just going to give a shameless plug that I document a lot of stuff behind the scenes, y'all. Like I've been documenting how I've been using my habit and goal tracker months ago on Instagram. I've been documenting lots of things on Instagram, especially, but also Facebook. And I would absolutely love, and be honored for you to go over there and follow me. So I'm going to be giving away some books to bribe you to follow me on Instagram. And it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, family wise, but also business wise, and stuff that you can't get anywhere else. I can't put it on the podcast, all kinds of things like that. So go over to Instagram right now on your phone. Find me, Trevor Mauch, Mauch. It's just Trevor.Mauch on Instagram. Okay. And then throughout this call, I'm going to be giving away 5 copies of the Pumpkin Plan. The Pumpkin Plan is a book that is one of my favorite books of all time now. One of my favorite books of all time. Someone says, can you see me now? Yep, I got you. You're here. Yep, you're in the right spot. One of my favorite books of all time, and I've only read 16 pages of the book. You might be asking, how the heck can this be one of Trevor's favorite books of all time if he's only read 16 pages? It's because the way that I read books, and this is something I want to be imparting this on y'all, is the way that I read books is I took the pressure off of myself for feeling like I had to read an entire book, and so therefore I would have like gazillions of books unread on my nightstand, and I'd be sitting there feeling the pressure to finish them all. So what I ended up doing is I ended up just shifting my model. I said, if I can get one thing out of a book, I'm going to shut the book and I'm going to go implement it. And the Pumpkin Plan changed my life in 2012. So I'm going to be giving away 5 of those books today. All you have to do is follow me on Instagram. And then sometime during this presentation, take a picture of a slide that you resonate with. Okay. Upload it to Instagram or Facebook with a comment on why you resonate with that. And then tag me or carrot to that post with the hashtag epic, epic 2019. Okay, so follow me on Instagram, Trevor Mauch. Take a picture of the slides that you resonate with throughout this call. Hashtag it, epic 2019, so I can find you. If you don't hashtag it, I can't find you. Okay, if you don't hashtag it, I can't find you to give away books. And then also, like I said, tag me to it, @ Trevor Mauch to it, or @ get carrot to it, and it will give away some books. All right. So this right here, I found this graphic months ago, and it really resonated with me. And I wanted to share it again here today. But basically, how most people live their life is this, from birth to 20, we're creative, we have fun, we live, we laugh, we learn, we enjoy life. And there's funny things that happen. I was at our carrot camp shoot May of this last year. We did 2 carrot camps this last year. We're doing 2 for sure this next year. I go to carrotcamp.com. The spots for our May carrot camp are opening up, and we're pumped to people that are already signed up for it. It's huge, high-level people, 100+ deals a year that some of them are doing. And one of them, we were sitting down, me and Kylie Newbold, Facebook Master, got an announcement coming out on that actually here soon about Kylie and the Carrot team, so keep an eye out for that. But also Dustin from Utah. We were talking about passion. We were talking about how things change when we're kids versus adults, and why is it that we have a hard time finding passions, finding ways to build passion into our businesses, into our lives when we're older. And I think we just forget how to live, laugh, learn, play, and enjoy life. And what happens to most people is between 20 to 60, we're just trying to survive Monday through Friday. And people look forward to Fridays and they dread Mondays. And that's not the way life should be led, of dreading the majority of your waking hours. People getting hammered on the weekends because that's their outlet instead of really focusing on learning. You guys on the weekend are focusing on learning. Okay, that's a big thing. These people stop learning. They complain about how hard and unfair life is. They work. And then they think someday they're going to be able to retire and enjoy things. but by the time they're 65, 70, 80, they're too tired and they don't really have the body to be able to go do those things. I don't want that for you guys, okay? This is really what I believe that we all look for as entrepreneurs. And I started talking about this on the podcast about a year and a half ago, and I've been hammering it on the podcast and in myself lately too, because I'm going, man, and as I hit different levels in my entrepreneurship journey, I'm going to show you guys where I am and recap my 2018 and the key lessons I learned from a personal level. What I really discovered for myself is I said, man, you know, what I really wanted out of entrepreneurship, it wasn't really the money. The money's part of it, right? The money's part of it because the money can make some things easier. Okay, it definitely can make some things easier. But what we're all really looking for is freedom, flexibility, growing those finances, but also making an impact. And what so many of us, a lot of you on this call too, have found yourselves doing is you might have built a business that has the finances, but maybe you don't have freedom and flexibility because of the way you've built it. And I'm going to be showing you guys some ways to build it the correct way. Or maybe you've got freedom, flexibility, finances, but you feel empty. I'm going to be sharing a concept with you called Ikigai that changed my life about 7 years ago. And if you're feeling empty, it's because you're not making impact. I'm going to be showing you guys how to nail these 4 things right there. Okay. This right here is on, I shared it last year during last year's Epic Planning Call. If you were on last year's or the years before, this presentation is almost, it's not almost entirely new. It's probably 60% new. So if you're on last year's versus this year's, it's gonna be a lot of different stuff. But this right here was my theme for 2018 that I always print out my themes with a cool picture, put it on my wall in my office so I can walk into it and I can just live it and look at it every single day. Now, I would say that I did a C+ on this. Okay, I didn't do all that great. I'm going to be showing you guys why. But I'm going to show you guys what I did do good, what habits I adopted, and what processes I did to do that so you guys can do the same thing. But the question I want to ask you this right out of the gates is, do your habits reflect your dreams and your goals? Do your habits reflect your dreams and your goals? I think this right here is something that so many of us are going to have a smack upon the forehead when we read this and really think about this, because we have these goals that we've set. We have these goals that we've set in our lives, okay? But for some reason, our habits aren't matching to those goals. And we think that we want these things, but then the habits aren't mapping to it. So how the heck can we actually achieve, live, do what we want to do in life if the habits that are going to help us get there aren't the things we're focusing on? So I want to focus on habits a lot on this call. Okay, more than I've ever focused on in the Epic Planning Calls, because habits were a big part of my year in 2018. And I still have a lot of bad habits I need to break. And I created some amazing habits that changed my life this year. But do your habits reflect your dreams and goals? Most of us, the answer is no. I'm going to be showing you guys some things you can do. Now, in Carrot style, every single weekly coaching call that we do, I like to do weekly doses of awesomeness. So I went through literally just 2 or 3 days of awesomenesses that our team posts into our channel. This is something I'd love for you to adopt in your own business this year. And the reason I'm showing you this is not to brag. I'm showing you this to illustrate a business methodology that we baked into our business years and years and years ago that's completely helped guide our culture to really serve our client, really serve not just the finances, but the impact, okay? So we created a channel in our tool that we use called Slack for team communication called the Thread of Awesomeness. It's Awesomeness Thread, okay? And our team puts doses of awesomeness in there every single day. When people, when Carrot members email us or hit us up on chat and say, hey, this is something cool that happened because of Carrot. Okay, so this one, Danny on our team put in. From SEO this year, we've done 19 deals. 13 of those have been in the last 3 months. That's great. Teal is the marketing manager at one of the largest home buyers in all of Maryland. And they were not the first ones to get in the market with Carrot, y'all. They were probably like the 25th to be in Baltimore with Carrot, but they executed, they implemented, and they're crushing it there. So congrats, y'all. I love it. This one right here, Eddie. Man, Eddie, this one made me smile when I saw it come through. Carrot's customer service is on the Chick-fil-A level. They care about their client's success. The SEO help is awesome, user-friendly. I wholeheartedly recommend Carrot to anyone wanting to take their business to the next level. Eddie, I love you, man. Matt Bristow, hopefully you don't mind me sharing this, dude. Matt was at Carrot Camp recently. I think it was the May one. Said, hey, man, I wanted to share. Just want to say that I'm thankful to have met you this year. Thank you again for having me. Your culture and wisdom continues to positively impact my life. That's no joke. I'll be a better person for it. By the way, I got the book, a book that I sent him. Hope you have a Merry Christmas. That right there is what it's all. I want to change lives, y'all. That's why we're doing this call today. This one here is crazy cool. Joaquin on our team posted it through from Troy. Troy said, "Hey Trevor, I've had I've had Carrot since 2016. I almost got rid of it last year because I had no leads. I thought further and realized I had not done anything to drive traffic to my site. I ended up hiring AdWords earners, and while the cost is hard to stomach at first for a guy who hasn't done any marketing in the past, it's working. Closed 4 deals in the past month, cleared about 50K, purchased another one, and I actually had Troy on the Carrot Cast that's going to publish in January." And this one here came through. This one really these are the ones I'm the most excited about. Getting leads, getting deals, those are amazing. Okay, that proves that people are executing our tool, executing what we do, and it proves that what we do works. And that gives our team validation to keep pushing forward and innovating and doing better. But this right here shows that we're doing important things in the world, not just getting leads. We're helping to change lives. And this one here was really, really cool. Brendan on our team, as a part of our giving program, we launched a giving program this year here at Carrot. And our aim was to say, hey, let's really push our giving muscle. Let's stretch the giving muscle this year and donate a percentage of our gross revenue, not net profit, gross revenue, to causes that amplify our core values. And the fire in Paradise, California hit close to home for some people on our team. And we donated a bunch of money and supplies to some causes there. And we got this note from the Tomeo family from Paradise, California. Said, "You're our heroes. Words cannot express what you've done for us. For the first time in our lives, we've struggled to put a roof over our family. Where we've been lacking in faith, you came to our aid and did it for us. With that, there are no words to express our joy, worth, and purest form of love you've shown our family. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank our guardian angels." Like that right there, it almost seriously, like that chokes me up reading stuff like that. And this is the reason I'm showing you this, y'all, is because I want you to build businesses of purpose in 2019. I want you to build businesses that matter in 2019. Whenever people hit me up saying that their number one goal this next year is to do X amount of deals or to bring in X amount of leads, what I see usually is I see someone who's going to be very, very discontent and unhappy with their life in 6 to 12 months. That's what I see when someone says that's their number one goal, is to get X amount of closings or X amount of deals. Because I can tell you, when you hit those numbers, there's always a higher number. There's always a higher number. So you're never going to be content if that's your number one goal. But if your number one goal is something else, something that lasts, something that continues to build within you, then your contentment and your happiness and fulfillment goes up. And I'm going to walk through Ikigai and how that works in your life. But first, quick public service announcement for y'all. We do have our annual upgrade promo going on right now. So this is a couple days before tax season. If you want to upgrade to the annual plan, if you're on a monthly plan with Carrot, just go ahead and go to carrot.com/save, and you'll save 20% versus just paying monthly. And just go ahead and get that last minute tax tax write-off in if that's what you want to do. And also, like I said, the Carrot Summit is coming up January 9th and 10th. It's completely free. There's nothing. It's completely free. So go to carrotsummit.com. The landing page isn't fully ready yet, but if you opt into it, it will save you in there. We'll get you the emails as a reminder to get there. We're going to be updating the page here shortly with all of the guests, all the topics, the agenda, but you can go to carrotsummit.com and get on that free summit. We're going to be talking about the game plan from the top investors in 2019. So let's get started. All right. So on this call, I'm going to review my 2018 key things I learned, won, and lost, why goals and resolutions often don't work and what does work for me. My 5 Fs. My 5 Fs exercise to diagnose the spots in your life you need to focus on the most. Some mindset things that worked for me in 2018, some big ones. Creating a clear, exciting, compelling vision for your life. How do I do that? My 1-page annual strategic plan. This is brand new. And we found a problem within our company that we had to be able to communicate our strategic plans between our teams well. And this is a brand new thing I learned from my mentor. How to create habits that stick without setting goals. The ceiling of complexity, brand new this year. I haven't reviewed this in any other ones, but I went through this about 6 or 7 years ago, and it changed my life. And the next one, ancient Japanese concept called Ikigai, changed my life. This is something I've had a chance to talk that concept with high level masterminds this past 4 to 5 months, and it's been changing other people's lives as well. So this may be you. I want you to think about this. This may be you right here, and if one of these is you, let me know, or post it on Instagram or whatever. Let me know which one of these is just working on you right now. Are you a high achieving entrepreneur and you just don't want to settle for living an average life? Do any of these apply to you? Pop through the questions panel. If so, which ones? You may be achieving your someday goal, but not happy and fulfilled. Okay, I'm posting these because I have lived or am living some of these, okay? You feel like you're working your butt off, but not getting closer to your ultimate goals. Your goals keep shifting. You set goals for the year, but by March, you forget about them because you're not really making big progress on them. Then you let life choose what you spend your time on. Then you go astray. You start each day feeling overwhelmed at everything you have to do and the little time you have to do it. You wish that finally one of your businesses or ideas would grow to its full potential rather than doing decent and leveling off like you've been in the past. Do any of these apply to you right now? Let me know through the questions panel. And which ones, okay? There's some more here, I promise. Where'd they go? There we go. You know you're able to achieve more, but can't figure out how to crack through that wall. You're growing your team, but more overwhelmed than you were before you started hiring a team. You always sabotage yourself and your goals, but you don't know why. If any of those relate to you, let me know through the questions panel, because there's nothing wrong with you, y'all. There's nothing wrong with you. I have gone through those. I'm going through some of those, and you'll cycle back through some as well. And my voice is definitely going to be going out here the next 2 to 3 days. So I'm going to be going out all in for you guys today. So bear with me here. So I'm going to be diving into each one of those and how you guys can make sure that you combat those in 2019. If any of you are new to Carrot or don't know who I am, I'm hosting this call. Obviously, my name is Trevor. I'm the founder of a company called Carrot, and we were able to achieve some really, really cool stuff this year. Really cool stuff. A lot of people are saying I always seem to self-sabotage myself. My goals go out the window by mid-year. A bunch of people are popping stuff through. Sabotage myself. So self-sabotage is a big. So habits are how you stop self-sabotaging yourself. Okay, I'm gonna walk through habits later on this call. But we're the 699th fastest growing company in America this past year, #1 fastest growing software company in Oregon, and we've helped investors generate millions of leads. Actually, this number is way low, hasn't been updated in a while. It's over 3 million leads for real estate investors and agents. So here's my 2018 in a nutshell, and then I'm going to dive into the principles and the exact processes you can use to plan out your 2019 well. Okay, so going into this year, I just want to kind of reverse and go and give you a little recap. What I was feeling like this time last year on last year's epic planning call. Okay, we had a great year in 2017, the best year that we'd ever had. But there were a lot of things I was just struggling with. You know, there's a lot of things I was doing insanely well. But that's the thing. Anytime you reach a new level in business or life, it opens up new struggles. So if you look at people that have an income that it seems like you want the income, or if you look at people that just look like they have the ideal life, I can guarantee you that it's not the Instagram filtered version behind the scenes. It's just not. Back in the day, I used to think, man, when I can make $100,000 a year, it's gonna be made. And then I'm like, well, shoot, if I could ever make $500,000 a year, that would be sweet. Like I would never have to worry about money. My lifestyle would be great. All those stuff. Blew past $500,000, and I'm like, man, if I ever made $1 million a year, then you know that'd just be like a complete game changer, and that's crazy. And now, you know, it's like I'm in that club. I make multiple 7 figures a year, not in gross revenue and taxable income, and I can tell you, the money hasn't made me any happier at all. Like not at all. So you just end up having new problems. The money's cool to have, but I don't spend money on stuff. I have a 2012 Chevy pickup. I don't really spend money on stuff, so money doesn't charge me up. But at the end of the day, there's things that I struggle with because I'm at that new level, and I want to walk you guys through stuff. So also during that phase, I was really struggling with being present at home. I almost honestly had a cell phone addiction, and I think a lot of people on this call have an addiction. You wouldn't call it an addiction probably, but it probably is an addiction. I'm hitting ceilings I knew that I couldn't get myself past. I couldn't do it myself. Was at the tail end of 2 years of no work on nights or weekends. And honestly, I kind of lost some motivation to do work during parts of the year for the first time in years and years and years. I'm going to walk through what that looked like for me and how I got out of it. I'm putting 7 figures in the bank a year, but money wasn't motivating. What's next? Like, what is the next thing? At the hardest phase I've ever been in it as an entrepreneur, but also the most fun. Okay, that's the thing, is it's been the hardest, but the most fun. It's the hardest because I've had to learn the most. Okay, struggling with consistency in parts of my life, faith, morning routines, bedtime routines, big struggle going into 2018, and wondering if I would be the one to really lead Carrot into the next phase. That was really the only part of my life that I wasn't confident in. Was, am I going to be the guy to lead Carrot to that next phase? And all these things were grinding on my mind. So here's what actually happened in 2019 then. So I talk about motivation for entrepreneurs. Motivation wanes. It's just like the stock market, okay? Or it's just like anything. You buy the new car, your desire for that car, the motivation for that car is at its apex in that first, in the first week or two. Okay. But once you start driving it more, it becomes kind of more normal. It becomes more routine. It's something that you don't get excited about anymore. So then you go buy another car, you go buy another gadget to fulfill that dopamine hit urge. Right. And business happens the same way if we don't change and make shifts. It doesn't have to happen, but it does happen most of the time. So motivators in the early stages of business, whether you're a real estate investor, agent, whether you're just anyone doing anything at all, even have a normal job, motivators oftentimes in the early stages are finances and really building your income. Proving others wrong is a common one, right? It's like, hey, these people didn't believe I could do it. I'm going to prove them wrong. Getting away from your current situation. Maybe you don't like your job. Maybe you don't like your lifestyle. Maybe you don't like something about what you're in the early stages. That's a motivator. And also the game of the start. A lot of us love the game of the start. You might be a quick start. You might love ideas and you love getting things started. But once it's started, then how do you keep your motivation and your zeal and your zest to do that business? Okay. So what happens is you start to climb because you're all motivated, your income's up there, everything's up there. And then somewhere in there around the year, around the 18-month mark, 2-year mark, 3-year mark, you kind of lose some of that motivation. And this is very, very common. You start to look at it and go, okay, I've got some money coming in now. I've got my back's not against the wall anymore. I'm away from that other situation. It's no longer in the start phase. I've already proved to others that I could do this. What's next? Like, why do I keep on waking up in the morning to do this? I went through this in 2012. I document it in my podcast. One episode specifically, I document this whole phase of my life, this massive shift I had to make. And during this phase, your motivators that I've found are purpose. It's time freedom, not money. It's time freedom. It's impact and legacy. It's a challenge of doing something big, but here's the big but, with and through others. It's no longer by yourself. Okay. And then building long-term wealth now instead of just building income. And so this is what I've been going through the last year and a half or so. And I'm kind of like right on the upswing again, where about 10 to 12 months ago, I was hitting this weird motivation lull. And I even hit it again about a month ago and then snapped out of it. So here's some key lessons I learned. Then I'll give you my templates and walk through. So number one, I got in the best shape of my life other than, being a 21-year-old college athlete. Okay. But this is after 6 years of struggling. How did I do it? I finally didn't set goals. Okay. I did not set goals in physical fitness in 2018 and I got in the best shape in 10 years. So you might ask, how is it that you don't set a goal and you actually reach it? For me, because I'd set a goal every year, it was something that I wasn't really giving myself the ability and the conviction to make it happen. This time, I made the conviction, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do it in a video to listen to on YouTube that helped me do it. I listen to it probably 2 to 3 times a week when I need that conviction. I got in the best shape by not setting one single fitness-related goal, not one. And we crushed it. I'll walk you through later how that happened. Found a new level of energy. Okay. Going into 2018, one of the things I knew that I had to do is I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better leader for our team. And I knew that I couldn't do it at the level of energy that I had. How many people have energy crashes at 2 or 3 in the afternoon right now? Either raise your hand behind there, nod your head, or post it through the questions panel. But how many of you have energy crashes consistently, okay, more days than not, at 2 to 3 in the afternoon? I did almost every single day in 2017. I still achieved at a high level, but the thing is, you hit ceilings. When you hit ceilings, you have to fundamentally change some things that you're doing. You cannot go through ceilings without changing habits. I'm going to be talking through later about a concept I learned called the ceiling of complexity and how this plays in here. Okay, but if you're having energy crash at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I can guarantee you, you're operating at probably 50 to 60% of your potential right now. And it's just decisions you're choosing to make and decisions I was choosing to make for years. But I decided to make a change, and I didn't have any energy crashes on a consistent basis in 2018. Did I have some isolated ones? Probably less than 10 out of 365 days. Probably less than 10 days I had an afternoon energy crash. And I don't drink coffee. I don't drink caffeine. What else? I don't drink any energy drinks, anything like that. Okay, so how did that happen? I'll walk you through how that happened later. Okay, switch from asking how to who. This is a huge lesson, okay? switch from asking how to who. So in 2017, I was getting really bogged down in work. Even the first half of 2018 was getting really, really bogged down in work. And same thing, it kind of cycles. I'm back in it now because we just hired a bunch more people and have to create some training. But what happens is when you're trying to grow, and if you feel like you're just kind of like Fred Flintstone, wheels churning, usually it's because you're trying to discover the what or the how. How do I do this thing? How do I do that? What's the process for it? When we should be really looking for the who already knows how to do this, that I can learn from or that can do it for me. So in 2018, I massively shifted from how to who. Okay. I was a part of more masterminds than I'd ever been a part of, and I would ever suggest. I was a part of 4 masterminds, including one that I run in 2018. But they're all amazingly high-level ones. This is me with Russell Brunson at his mastermind. I've been in it for 2 years now. And this is a group with people that are doing 40, 50, $100 million a year, crushing it. And some of the biggest advice he gave as well is like, man, you got to quit asking how to do things. You have to start finding the who knows how to do it so they can do that and you can do what you do best. Once I started doing that, started to crush it. Reducing pressure and noise. Okay, this is something I learned from Alex Sharf and a friend of mine that I met in the inner circle. I invest $25,000 a year to be in that mastermind. I couldn't have done that 7 or 8 or 10 years ago, but I can now. At 7 or 8 or 10 years ago, I joined different masterminds. I got around different people that were 3, 4, 5 levels above where I was. Okay, so it's all a part of the evolution. Don't feel like you have to join a $20,000 mastermind to get around people that can help lift you up. Just look at where you are right now and then go, okay, where are the group of people that are just a little bit ahead of me and things I want to learn about? Get yourself around them. But Alex talks about a concept called pressure and noise. And it's something I talked about last year in the Epic Planning call, but I called it something different. But it's basically all of the decisions, all the things that are cluttering up our brains on a daily basis really massively negatively impact our happiness, our ability to think big, our ability to think creatively. And what happens is by the end of the week, we feel like the week was so frantic, so hectic that you got some things done, but you're not sure what you got done, and you're not even sure if it really impacted your happiness or goals at all. And one of the things that I started to do more and more this year was reduce pressure noise. Here's an example. We're renovating our house in Roseburg. And it's been a couple of year renovation because we're just going too slow on some of the stuff. It's almost done. But our closet in our bedroom was like one of the last things. And I'm a pretty frugal guy. And so I'd walk into the closet every morning and be like, hey, well, I'm just not ready to spend $3 or $4 grand on getting our closet redone to where it's something really nice. And once I started talking to Sharf and I started looking around my life of going, okay, where is there pressure and noise that just clutters up my brain at key spots? A key spot in your life is your mornings. A key spot in your life is your evenings. And my closet is where I go in my mornings and evenings. And it was in disarray. It's this old 1980 something closet that someone's built themselves, their own shelves, and it's just a mess. And so I looked at it, okay, that's pressure and noise. It's completely worth it for me to go all in and making this closet amazing, even if it costs me $5,000 or $10,000, because just freeing up that mind space every single day, at least 2 to 3 times a day that I go in that closet, is going to make me well more than $10,000 this next year, well more. Okay, so reduce pressure and noise around you. I busted it through a few ceilings and simplified my process, and I hired a coach. Once again, I went for the who, not the how. I hired a coach this year. It was a big investment, but it's completely changed the game, okay? Found even greater purpose in my work in 2018 by tying my business to causes that amplify our core values that I want to spread in the world. And so I want to challenge everyone on this call. I want you to start a giving program this next year. I want you to start a giving program this next year. Even if the giving program is $100, like, I don't care. What I want you to do is I want you to focus on building that giving muscle, because when you can build the giving muscle, gratitude is something that starts to build and build and build and build within you massively. And you get more happiness, you get more freedom, you get more flexibility, you get the whole thing. Okay, so I want you to be giving more in 2019. We had a chance to give about $60,000 to causes that mattered, and it just totally lit me up and the whole team up on why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, so when I go back to that phase where I showed you before, the motivation, now that's how we're getting the motivation. That's how I'm getting the motivation back up for me personally in the company, because once you start to achieve financial goals, the motivation for that's gone. Now you need to find purpose-related goals. You need to find education-related goals, how you can build other people. And this is one of the things that really pumped me up and pumped everyone else up about growing Carrot more. Okay. Another thing, I learned more of the habit triggers. I'm going to be walking through towards the end of this call today, habit triggers, and built them into my day more consistently than in the years past. And this little document down at the bottom is my habit and goal tracker sheet. I'll give it to you at the end of this call, and you can go and use it. I use it on my cell phone. I share it with my assistant, and helps me get a lot more structured. So I'm not going to go through a lot here because I want to dive into the tactics. I want to dive into the actual structure, the things you guys can implement right now. Okay. But my own journey in a nutshell, I've never had a real job, and that some people can look at that and go, that's cool. I look at it as, man, I missed a massive opportunity to learn from others. I missed a massive opportunity to learn from bad bosses. I missed a massive opportunity to learn from great bosses. And so I've had to learn all this kind of on my own. And it took me way too many years to really reach out for help. It took me way too many years to reach out for a coach and to join masterminds and to really decide to not go it alone. And what I want you guys and gals all to do today is to decide to not go it alone. I don't want you to go it alone, because going it alone is not valiant. Okay, I thought it was. I thought it was a badge of honor on my chest. Hey, I don't have a coach. I've never had a coach before. Things like that. I'm not selling y'all coaching. We don't have coaching here. Okay, but that's something I want you guys to get over. I want you to get over the fact that you have to go it alone this next year. If you have a coach, amazing. Keep that coach if they're great for you. If you don't have a coach, look for a coach or a mentor or both. Okay, but as we started to grow Carrot, I got rid of my last companies that were kind of I just wasn't fired up about them. I wasn't wanting to wake up in the morning to do the work that I had created for myself in 2010, 11, 12 before Carrot. And I'm not going to go through this because I talk about it in a lot of podcasts, but I was in a spot where I was at my lowest as far as happiness in life that I probably had ever been. And at that time, in a mid 20-something-year-old kid, making mid six figures, that shouldn't be that way. So I started asking myself, why, right? Why? And it really came to be that I didn't have urgency in life around the important things. I wasn't really looking at the important things. I was looking at just revenue in the dollar. And I also wasn't trying to build a business that mattered. I was just trying to build a business that had a good revenue stream. And once we started Carrot, I really got more focused and intentional and happy, and I'm sure how. Okay, but this is where you're going to want to start writing some stuff down. This right here is my 5-step kind of pyramid for planning an epic year. At the base level, like, I can give you all the templates, y'all. I can give you the habit tracker sheet that I started using for my friend Matt Aitchison this year. I can give you my daily productivity sheet. I can give you my energy audit, which I'm giving you all that stuff today towards the end of this call. If I don't focus on mindset first, all that doesn't matter at all. None of that matters. So we're going to focus on mindset a little bit first. Okay. So this is what we're going to be doing here. The four step, this is a 5-step process, is my mindset practices. I'm going to walk you through a couple mindset practices I adopted even more in 2018 that worked for me really, really well. I'll walk you through clarifying your life vision, that process I go through yearly. And anytime I get in a funk, I go through and read that life vision. Number 3, creating an ironclad annual plan. This part changed quite a bit, but I'll be walking through what to do there. Keeping course during the year. Okay, how do you keep course during the year? This is something I'd struggle with for years and years and years. I still do, but it's getting better. And how do you craft a winning environment? And there's new things in each one of these sections. So I want to share this with you right here. Time for mindset, right? Thoughts become things. Choose the good ones. We're always surrounded around us with news stories, and every single news story is always a negative news story, it seems like, right? Or who on this call has negative people in their life? Who on this call has negative family members? Maybe a negative spouse, could be a negative business partner. That's something that can drag us down. And if we let those drag us down, what happens is we're a fraction of the person that we could be. Okay. And one of our core values here at Carrot is be a beacon of positivity and possibility, because I know how important positivity is to happiness, positivity is to progress, positivity is for us reaching our goals. And I also know the positivity is contagious the same way the negativity is contagious. They're both contagious. So thoughts become things. Choose the good ones. Even if you have negative people in your life, how do you get them out of your life? Or how do you cast those negative thoughts aside? And we all have negative people in our life. Okay. I love my family more than anything, but I have family members who just slant toward the negative immediately. Okay. Even my kids, so get this. Even my kids, I've got 3 little kids, 4, 6, and 8. And they're in the phase, I think this is probably normal, but I'm trying to get them out of it. They'll sit down for a meal, And immediately, does anyone relate to this? Immediately my kids look at what they don't like on the plate and they mention that. Okay, immediately it's like, oh, I don't want the apple right now. But they love the other 3 things in their plate. They absolutely love them, but they don't mention them. They just mention the darn apple that they don't want to eat. And so I tell them, I said, guys, don't focus on the negative. Focus on what you do like. What do you like on that plate? What part of it do you like? And then they start talking about, like, sweet, eat that then. Like, focus on that part of it, right? And we need to start to mold others around us to try to think more positively. Now, we don't want to focus on changing them. We just want to be a positive influence on them. Don't let their negativity rub off on us. Here's an amazing quote from Tony Robbins I've tried to really, really adopt in 2018. And there's a video that I watched. I'm going to share with you exactly which YouTube video I want you to go watch every single week in 2019. Watch this every single week in 2019. Okay? I've got it on my phone in my YouTube playlist. And anytime I wake up in the morning early, I put in my AirPods, I'm making breakfast, I'm listening to this YouTube video, okay? And he has a quote that says, anytime you sincerely want to make a change, the first thing you must do is raise your standards. The first thing you must do is raise your standards. When people ask me what really changed my life 8 years ago, I tell them that absolutely the most important thing was changing what I demanded of myself. I want to read that again. When people ask me what really changed my life 8 years ago, I tell them that absolutely the most important thing was changing what I demanded of myself. I wrote down all the things I would no longer accept in my life, all the things I would no longer tolerate, and all the things that I aspired to becoming. How many of you need to raise your standards? How many of you are not achieving your goals, not as happy as you want to be? How many of you are not in shape? You're physically unhealthy because you're not moving, because you're not eating the right things, you're not drinking enough water. How many of you aren't as productive as you want to be? How many of you aren't who you want to be right now? The reason that you're there is not because you can't do it. It's not because you can't do it. Okay? It's not because you can't do it. You can do it. It's because your standards haven't matched up with your vision in your head. You have this vision in your head, and I'm speaking to myself here, y'all. That's why I listen to this damn thing like every week. Okay? So my standards oftentimes are not there. They're not there where they need to be. If I want to be the best husband and best father that I can be, why am I packing my phone around my house and getting distracted by my phone? That's my standards for being a father are lower than they should be. I need to raise my standards. The habits will follow when you raise your standards. Okay, so I want you to take a picture of this, share this on Instagram, tag Epic. Carrot Epic 2019, Carrot Epic 2019. Okay, and then tag me to this if you've resonated with this quote right here, because this changed my life. Okay, this changed my life. Paul says this is huge. Your goals and desires can't be tied to a calendar, y'all. They can't be tied to a calendar to get them done. This is a big mistake I'd made for years and years and years prior. Was I'd always look at, it's December, right? You look at the New Year's, I go, okay, man, what am I going to crush in the New Year? What am I going to crush in 2019? What am I going to crush this New Year? And it's like December 14th or October that I'm thinking about it. It could be physical fitness. It could be finally getting up early, or it could be mid-year. Let's say it's August, and you're like, you know what? I need to get up. I need to get up earlier. I need to get up earlier. I want to get up at 5 in the morning. I'm going to start that next week. Okay. Or I want to start eating better. I'm going to start that after Thanksgiving. Okay. It's a week before Thanksgiving. No reason for me to start this now, right? It's like, I'm going to start this after Thanksgiving. Why? If we're going to wait to start things based on a calendar, we haven't had the conviction yet to make it stick. So if I go back to why I was able to get in the best shape of my life in the past 10 years this year, it's because I didn't set goals for being in physical fitness. I didn't, in October of 2017, I was just fed up and I said, you know what? I'm no longer setting a goal for physical fitness in 2018. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to wait until January 1st. I'm doing it today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. And so I brought my assistant Jen in there and I said, hey, Jen, we're going to figure out something today to make this 100% guaranteed to stick. 100% guaranteed. Not, I'm going to try this now. I think this might work. How do I 100 million% guarantee that I will be working out and getting in the best shape of my last 10 years of my life in 2018? Not a hope, not a wish, a guarantee. And I said, okay, what's the very first step that I need to do to guarantee that? It's not to write a goal. It's not to start this in 2 weeks, right? It was to say, what can I do today? What can I do today? And so I said, okay, Jen, can you please go find 4 personal trainers that match these criteria and bring them back to me on Thursday. And we'll choose on a trainer on Thursday, and then we'll start working on Monday. Okay, so it wasn't I'm going to start working out Monday. It was, what can I do today? I can reach out and find 4 personal trainers that match these criteria that I can make a decision on by Thursday. That changed my life. It wasn't tied to a calendar. It was tied to an action. It was tied to a conviction. Okay, it was tied to a conviction. So I want to toss this at you too. So we're a few days before New Year's. New Year's resolutions don't work. Okay, New Year's resolutions don't work, y'all. Okay, of all the New Year's resolutions, 92% fail. Why don't they work? If you go back to the previous slide, they don't work because of this. Because we're tying our goals and desires to a calendar. If they're tied to a calendar in the future, we have not created the conviction to live them yet. We've created a hope and a dream, but we haven't created a reality that we were convicted to make it happen. If you go back to Tony Robbins, we haven't raised our standard yet. We just said, hey, let's put something on the calendar and hope that we stick to it this time. We haven't mentally raised our standards. When I had made the conviction on physical fitness at the end of 2017 that changed my life in 2018, it was because my standards had raised in that moment. I looked and I said, how do I become a better father? Well, I need more energy. I can't have afternoon crashes at 2 or 3 in the afternoon anymore. How do I become the best husband that I can be? I need more energy. I need more presence of mind. I can't be coming home and out of energy. All my energy went into work and I'm none for home. How many people are doing that right now to your spouse? You're putting all of your energy into work and you're going home and your family doesn't have any of your energy left. That's not why we do this, y'all. How many people on this call would rather sacrifice dollars in exchange for the ultimate family life and ultimate fulfillment there versus sacrificing your family life and fulfillment there for a few extra bucks? That's what we're doing every day. You're just not conscious of it. And that's something I'm doing as well. And I'm more conscious of it now. Okay, but in that moment, I said, how do I be the best leader? How do I be the best leader for my business? As we're growing Carrot, we're 24 employees and we'll be over 30 here shortly. It's like, I can't do it if I don't have energy. I just can't do it. So I had to raise my standards. And my standards changed that day. They didn't change next week. They didn't change tomorrow. They changed that day. So what are you having to do in 2019 that will require you to raise your standards? I want you to write that down right now. What will you have to do in 2019 that will require you to raise your standards? Are you the husband or the mother or the spouse that you want to be? Are you the leader you want to be? Are you as effective at work as you want to be? Why? Is it related to energy? If it's related to energy, you need to get your butt in gear and you need to do these 3 things. You need to move at least 5 days a week. At least 5 days a week. It doesn't mean you have to get a personal trainer and build a gym in your office like we have. Okay? But that's what it took for me. I knew for me, I had to do this. I had to build a legit gym in my office. We have more equipment in there now. If you come to Carrot Camp in May, we have even more equipment in our gym now that we have like a full-on gym in there than our last Carrot Campers saw. But for me, I'm like, how do I guarantee this is going to work? It's so important that I need to be healthy. I need to be high energy for my family, for my kids, for my community, for my business, that I'm going to put my damn gym where I can't avoid it, right outside my office. And I'm going to have a personal trainer come in 4 days a week, right after I drop my kids off. And I'm going to have team members and community people come and work out with me, to hold me accountable. Now, I understand not everyone can build a gym in your office. You might be working out of your home. How do you create something similar for yourself? It could be accountability with a friend that's willing to stick through it with you. It could be a really finally like crunching those numbers and getting a personal trainer to come into your house or go somewhere to train you 3 or 4 days a week to create the habit. Okay? That's what I want you guys to do is focus on. You need more energy this next year. Next thing, you got to drink a lot more water. Cut more caffeine out. Drink a lot more water, y'all. Okay? How many people here drink more coffee or caffeine on a daily basis than they do water? If that's you and nodding in the background, you got to stop it. Like, that's actually costing you energy in the afternoon. It is. Okay, so what I do now is I've got my big orange Carrot bottle that is 32 ounces. And I always keep it at my office. And I've got a water cup at my house. And some part of my morning routine now, because this was part of how do I get more energy, part of my morning routine is as soon as I wake up, I go to, and I'm going to be talking about habit triggers towards the back half of this call. But that's one of my habit triggers. I have my clear glass Carrot cup right by my kitchen sink. When I first wake up in the morning, that's a habit trigger. It's sitting there. I open it up, I fill it up, and I chug a glass of water. Then I go listen to something, Tony Robbins video or something like that, and then I chug another one before I even head out to take my kids to school at 7:30 in the morning. I get to the office, I get my gym clothes on, I start working out at 8:15 to 8:20, and then I also grab my 32-ounce bottle there. I make sure it's full. I drink the entire thing. The entire thing's gone by 9:30 or 10 in the morning. I got to pee like a racehorse the next 2 hours, but then I fill it up again. I drink the whole thing again before I go home. So by that time, I've drank over 70 ounces of water before I even got home for the day. My energy is lit. Okay, I get home and I was moving that day. I drank a ton of water. You're just lubed up. You're ready to go. It's a fundamental in life that a lot of us ignore. Okay, so here's a video. I want you to go find it on YouTube. I can link it up and share it to you guys later if you want. But to adopt this mindset, listen to this Tony Robbins video. It's the same one I listen to, like I said, every week. It's called "Stay Hungry." Okay, if we remain humble and hungry, we can win. Let me see if I have the link to it. Where'd it go? I know I've got it. I've got the link on here somewhere. But anyway, go in there. Let me find the actual title. Give me a second here. It's on my. Is this good stuff, y'all? Let me know, y'all, if you're enjoying this right now. We're about halfway through the call. Usually these calls are not quick calls. Okay, I want to make sure to really ingrain in you some habits and create real change, and it can't happen in 20 minutes. And so these usually last about 2 hours. I'll take Q&A and stuff. I'm so grateful for you joining me on a Saturday. But it's called "Stay Hungry." Okay, Tony Robbins. And go find that video. It's 38 minutes. You don't have to listen to the whole thing, but the first 15 to 20 minutes is magical. Put that on. Add it to your playlist. I created a mindset playlist in my YouTube. So every single video that I find that I want to listen to over and over again, I add it to my mindset playlist in YouTube. And then I just listen to that stuff all the time. All right. Awesome. Kevin Clancy says, great stuff. Brady, thanks, man. Brady on my team linked up the YouTube video. Willie Payne, outstanding. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Sweet. I love it. So here's something I want you to take out that piece of paper. Okay, now that I've hopefully given you some convictions that you have to change this next year, we're going to get down to brass tacks now. Okay, this is where we actually figure out exactly what we need to change and how to do it. Okay, so take out that piece of paper right now. I'll give you 10 seconds here. I'm going to take a drink of my tea. As I spill it all over my lap. All right, grab that piece of paper and do this. I want to take the 5 F's quiz. Okay, it's the first of about 2 to 3 exercises I'm going to walk you through. The 5 F's quiz. Write down fitness, family, friends, financial, and faith. Fitness, family, friends, financial, faith. Okay? And what I want you to do next to each one of them is think about your life in that area. And on a scale of 1 to 5, awesome, says someone says killer stuff. Thanks. Awesome. This is great. Says, thanks, Trevor. Combining this with Hyatt's best year ever in Lifebook. Dude, Lifebook. I went through Lifebook from Orlando, Florida. I went through Lifebook the very first year it went out. Like literally the very first year it went out. This is like 2010. This is way before Lifebook was what it is now. It's crazy good. Okay, so write them down. So fitness, on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being you're crushing it and you're living at the highest level. A 1 being, you know what? You are struggling. 3 being, you wouldn't say that you're like dying yet from that, but you're not consistent with it. And if you don't make a change now, you will be. You will be sliding the wrong direction. Okay. So fitness. If I had to give it to myself right now, I'd give myself 4, not a 5, because I've got a long way to go still. Okay. But I'll give myself 4. Put your honest number there. Number 2, family. How are you doing with your family, your relationships there? Have you made those calls to your mom or your dad or your brother or sister or your friend or your anyone in your family that you need to make? Are you avoiding having those conversations? I know that's something I'm really bad at, those conversations, and that's something I'm wanting to get way better at. For sure. Write down your number there. How is your relationship with your family? Number 3, friends, 1 to 5. How about friends? This is really common, y'all. With entrepreneurs, oftentimes friends are the very first thing that go, especially as we start to achieve more. Because what happens is our friends that we had before, we oftentimes can't relate to them. I've got some really good friends that I have a tough time sitting with and talking to because I can't relate to them. Like some of my best friends,
I have a really tough time sitting with and talking to in just a informal environment. I don't know what to talk about because I'm not a fan of I'm not a big fan of fantasy football. I'm not a fan. I don't watch football on Sundays. I love sports, but I don't watch sports on TV. I'd rather go play them or see them in person. I just have a really tough time relating with my friends from my past life, right? From college and stuff like that. Does anyone relate? So you've got to surround yourself with friends that you can also have those amazing conversations with as an entrepreneur. Someone who's going to lift you up. Are you going out there and having kind of friend dates and stuff like that? If I had to give myself a grade here, it'd probably be a 2. That's something I didn't nail in 2018. I'm going to be doing some things this next year to make that even better. A couple things I did do is I started having breakfast with friends Thursday morning. So I just put it on my calendar. Thursday mornings is always sacred for breakfast with friends. And my assistant Jen just knows that that's what Thursdays are. Thursday mornings at 8:00 after I drop the kids off to school, it's breakfast with my friends. And so once you get it in your calendar, things happen. Okay. And then it's Monday morning. Well, shoot, I don't have anyone on my calendar for breakfast on Thursday. And then I reach out to someone and I get someone locked in for Thursday breakfast. And I love it. So how do you create those habits? That's a habit trigger. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about habit triggers a lot during this call because habit triggers are what gets you the result you're wanting to get. With the friends thing, I knew that I kept on never having time. Whenever they'd message me, I couldn't do it. Whenever they messaged me, I couldn't do it. Because my schedule was so booked out. But what if I booked my schedule out first that included friends? That's a habit trigger. Financial, how you doing financially? And then the last is faith. Okay, if you believe in God, how is your faith in God? If you don't, how is your spirituality? How is it? How are you in touch with the greater universe out there? Okay, give yourself some numbers there. And what I'd like you to do now is circle the 2 that you need the most work with. Circle the 2 that you need the most work with. Okay, let them simmer for there. Circle the 2 that you need the most work with. So I want you to, after this call, I want you to go really drill down into those 2 and write down some ideas and some actions you're going to take this next week to change that. For me with friends, one of those actions when I did this last year was, okay, I'm going to schedule a breakfast every Thursday. That was something I did that day. I talked to Jen and said, hey, let's put every Thursday let's do it right now and put it throughout the whole year. That was an action I took today. It wasn't an action I took in 6 months. Okay, so what can you take today? All right. Faith for me, if you had asked me this a year ago, it would have been probably a 2. Today, it's more like a 3, 3.5. I'm in the Bible a lot more. I've got a hunger for it like I never had, and it's because I created the time for it. And I started getting up more early in the morning to read. If you don't believe, if you're not a believer, that's fine. What is it for you that can really help amplify your faith? Okay. Urgency or lack thereof is one of our biggest problems. And one of the biggest fixes I've found to recognize your own mortality. So I was at a mastermind called Investor Fuel down in Dallas, and amazing mastermind with high-level investors. And it's the first time that I ever gave this presentation. And it was hard for me to do. It definitely was hard for me to do. I'm going to walk through it again. I'm going to walk you through an exercise that every single carrot camp and every single mastermind that I've ever ran, I walk people through this exercise, and it's a life changer. It is a life changer. Okay, so I want you to humor me for the next 10 minutes. I want you to humor me for the next 10 minutes here, and take out a piece of paper. Make sure things are quiet. Make sure your social media distractions are gone, because this right here could completely change the urgency in your life this next year, and it could complete it. The first time we did this at a carrot camp, it was a room of grown men. This is a year and a half, 2 years ago. I walked them through this exercise, and by the time of this exercise was done, multiple people were in tears. Multiple people had picked up the phone and called their loved ones because of what they had written down on paper after going through this exercise. And I want that same result for you. Okay? Change happens with emotion. And if we just keep on looking at goals, if we keep on looking at bullet points, we keep on saying, hey, I want that thing, but we don't have the emotion tied to it, it's going to be really hard for that change to stick. It's going to be really hard for those habits to stick. But if we have emotion tied to them and why it's important, they're going to stick. So I found this urgency about 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, I mean, look at this, y'all. December 30th, 2012. All right. What's today's date? I wasn't even putting this together. Today's December 29th. So 6 years ago tomorrow, one of my brother's best friends, my brother's 3 years older, my older brother's 3 years older. Nick was at our house all the time growing up. Okay, he was there all the time. They were in each other's weddings. The funniest guy, the most down-to-earth guy, the most likable guy you could ever know. Had 3 kids at the age of 32. Just an amazing dude, and it was one day. I mean, I believe it was a weekend, and he was like in his backyard, and him and his wife was saying that they were even talking about their future that day. They were talking about what their future was going to look like, and some things that we often talk about with our spouse when we're kind of dreaming, right? It's like, what could our life look like when the kids are older, and how can we grow our kids to amazing kids, and what might retirement look like, and what's my next job going to be, things like that. And while they were having those talks and discussions, and the same things that we're having today with our spouses, and same thoughts that we're having today, what he didn't know was that he wasn't going to make it for dinner that night. He was in his backyard, had a brain aneurysm, and passed away there at his house. And so it hit my brother really, really hard. It hit me hard at the time, not because he was my best friend. I mean, I knew him really, really well, but it hit me hard because I envisioned myself in him. And by that time, we had 2 little kids. I would have been 30 years old, 29, 30 years old. So just a few years behind him, 1 kid behind him. And I saw myself in him, and I'm going, man, I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to be living forever. I'm sitting here thinking I can wait to do that important thing till next year, till next month, till next week. I couldn't, you know what? I can wait to have that to make that call to my parents or my friend, or to finally like get over this fear that I've got. I can wait to do that because I've got time. And Nick was thinking the same thing. And then he was there 1 second, he was gone the next. And so it hit me really, really hard and gave me a sense of urgency. And then I was at a mastermind that year. And it's interesting. It was actually earlier that year. I was walking through this exercise, and this exercise hit me really, really hard. And when Nick passed, it finally clicked for me, like, oh my gosh, this is real. This isn't the movies. This isn't the movies where only bad things happen to other people. Okay, things can happen to us. Things can happen to our loved ones. Life needs to be led with urgency. So take out your piece of paper and write these things down. So imagine this scenario. Now I want you guys to humor me, please. Okay, please humor me here. And this, if you don't do anything else, in this call, please do this. Okay? Because none of your habits, none of your changes, none of these templates I'm going to give you are going to stick without urgency, without conviction, and without emotion tied to it. So imagine yourself in this scenario. You're at the doctor's office, and the doctor tells you you've got this life-threatening illness, something the world has never seen, and you got 24 hours to live, to the minute. You know exactly the minute in 24 hours that you're not going to be here anymore, to the minute. Okay, you have a chance to process that. Everything's flashing in front of you, your family, your friends. I guarantee the achievements that you had and did not have do not pass in front of you in that moment. Only the most important things pass in front of you at that moment. You walk out of that doctor's office. You're still trying to process this, that in 24 hours, you're probably not going to get through you're probably not going to get through 2 changes of clothes for the rest of your life at this point. You're only going to be able to talk to a certain amount of people and say a certain amount of things now because you've got such limited time. You go home, you sit down, and you think, what do I do with my 24 hours? What do I do with these last 24 hours I'm going to have on earth? Who do I talk to? What do I say? What do I do? Are there things I haven't said before to people that I need to say right now? I want you to start writing some things down. What would you do if you only had 24 hours to live? Write these down. I'll give you a couple minutes, and I'll kind of talk through some things that pop up for me whenever I go through this exercise, which is usually about every year. Because urgency wanes. Urgency isn't something that you can create urgency all the time. It's like the fire department. The fire department can't be driving out their sirens around all the time. They have to put the truck in the garage. You have to kind of wait for the next thing. A trigger happens, and then urgency lights, and then they go out there and fight the fire, and then come back. And it's kind of similar with life, where urgency wanes. We have to find ways to get urgency back, because without urgency, we're floating through life. So what would you do in those 24 hours? Like I said, who would you talk to? Write those down. What would you say? Are there any loose ends not tied up yet that need to be tied up? Are there conversations that need to be had that you haven't had yet that you've been avoiding? Are there anyone that you need to forgive that you've just really had a tough time forgiving up to this point that is probably holding you back? There's some baggage. Oftentimes the reason we can't create habits or create change or raise our standards is because certain baggage that we have that we're not letting go. Is there someone that you need to forgive? If you have kids, what would you do during that 24 hours to leave a legacy? It's plenty of time to record videos. It's plenty of time to write letters. What would you do? Give you another 60 seconds. This is hard. This is hard stuff. Because when you distill it down to the 24 hours, only the most important things trickle up. Only the most important things trickle up. I can guarantee you no one on this call is going to write down anything about closing a deal, getting a listing, getting a lead. Nothing about your business is going to be written down in these 24 hours, is my guess. If it is, you're probably living a very unfulfilled and empty life right now. All right, so we'll wrap that up. Next, same scenario. You have a week now. Okay, the doctor says you have a week. You have 7 days to the minute. 7 days to the minute. It's 10 o'clock, 10:10 a.m. right now, Pacific time on Saturday. I've got exactly a week until 10:10 a.m. next Saturday to live, to the minute. And here's the caveat. I didn't say this before. You can't tell anyone that you're going to die. Okay, even in that 24-hour scenario, you can't tell your spouse. You can't tell someone, hey, this is the last conversation I'm going to have with you. You can't say that. Okay, you can't say I'm going to be gone in 24 hours or in 7 days. You can't say that. They can't know. Only you and the doctor and the greater power above us knows. Okay, that changed the dynamic in a big way. So you have seven days. I'm going to give you a couple minutes here. What would you do during those 7 days? Who would you talk to? That might be enough time to hop on an airplane now. If you need to hop on an airplane and go meet someone in person, that's probably time to write down some things. What about your business? Are there things that your spouse would have to inherit and take over in your business that would completely crush them and leave them flailing because you haven't structured your business in a way that's going to enable someone to step in and do it? Have you set up your business in a way to where only you know all the stuff? If so, you could completely torpedo your spouse's life if you were gone. And that's not fair to them. That's not fair to them. What could you do in those 7 days business-wise? Who do you need to talk to? Anyone you need to forgive? What would you need to do? What would you do during those 7 days for legacy? I want you to write those down right now. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Really think about it. Put yourself in that emotional state. What have you been avoiding? We all do things that keep us busy in the day-to-day, but force us to ignore the most important things. Another 60 seconds. Who would you talk to? What important things would you need to put out in the world before you were gone in those 7 days? And if you're distracted right now with social media, I urge you to shut this off. There's even some people hopping off of this call right now, which is normal. You know what? And the people that are looking for a magic bullet here are the people that are going to be struggling come 2019, during our 2020 epic planning call. If you think that this is foo-fooey and fluff, you're probably burying your head with some problems and some things that you're avoiding that are going to completely hamper you in 2019. I want you to face them head on. Okay, so next scenario, 10 years. I'm sorry, 1 year. Okay, same scenario. You have 1 year to live. You can't tell anyone. You can't tell anyone that you have 1 year to live. What do you do now? Who do you talk to? Where do you go? Do you travel somewhere? That's long enough to travel now. And what do you do with your business? That's plenty long to take care of business stuff. What about life insurance? Okay, when I did this the first time, I didn't have life insurance. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get life insurance. That's plenty of time to get life insurance. Okay, So if you don't have life insurance right now and you have kids, that should be one of the first things you need to be doing in January to protect them. Because we think that we're going to be here forever, but you never know. And you never want to completely, hamper your family if something bad were to happen to you. Okay, during that year, what would you do to ensure that your business is set up in a way to where it could be handed off to someone and they wouldn't be picking up just pieces and shambles? Okay, even if it's just documenting a couple things, it doesn't have to be a big business. It can be one document that your spouse knows about. Here's everything in my business. Here's what it looks like, and if something were to happen to me, this would kind of at least give you a good start. Okay, 1 year. 1 year's plenty of time. That if you don't love what you're doing, y'all, I guarantee you're not going to be doing a bunch of crap work that you don't like doing. Okay, you're going to find the stuff that you love doing that lights you up because you know that your time is limited. So what are those things that light you up? What things give you energy when you're working? What things light you up and give you energy when you're working? Write those down because that's probably more of the stuff you're going to do during that year. Okay, same thing. What conversations would you have? What relationships would you repair? What things would you do with your business? Would you get rid of it because you don't like your business and start something else? You can start to build a legacy at that point. What would you do for legacy building? But now I'm going to do one last one. You have 10 years. Okay, write down 10 years down on it. What would you do during 10 years? If you knew, I'm 36 right now, if I knew on my 46th birthday, knock, knock, that I'm not going to be around, it would definitely change the way I'm living right now. And whenever I think about this scenario, I'll go, man, why am I doing this every day? Like, why am I still doing this activity when I know that I don't like it? Why am I still running this business when it's really empty? I need to shift the way I'm running it so it's fulfilling. During 10 years, y'all, you could build a big, huge business. Carrot's only 5 years old. Carrot's only 5 years old. You could build a huge, big business if you wanted to. You can make a massive worldwide impact if you wanted to. 10 years is a long time. What would you do during those 10 years? What would your business look like? What would your relationships look like potentially? What types of things would you be doing on the day-to-day during business if you knew that you only had 10 years? Probably not a lot of things you're doing right now. So in honor of Nick and his family, I've really carried this tradition forward. I try to do this exercise often to really recognize my mortality. And it's a big deal. I can't open up for comments here, but I really want everyone to think about this now. And this is the most powerful, is when we do this in a room at Carrot Camp or other places. This is where emotion really kicks in because you can see other people's emotion kicking in. And when you share it, when you share these things, that's when it really happens. Now, this is the whole crescendo here. Everything you wrote in the 24-hour period is there for a reason. It's there for a reason. Everything you wrote in the 24-hour period is there because it's likely the stuff that is the most important in your life and likely the stuff you're avoiding right now. That conversation that you haven't had that's on there, you need to have that today. You need to call your father or your mother or your brother or sister or that person and forgive them today, not tomorrow, not next week. What if they never got that phone call from you and know that they were forgiven for that thing? You need to have that conversation with your kids about how proud you are of them. You need to record those videos and those pieces of content that start to put out your stuff to the world, your legacy. A lot of people ask me, why'd you start the Carrot Cast in 2016? Y'all, one of the big reasons I started the Carrot Cast is because I did this exercise and I realized I wasn't putting out legacy building stuff for my kids. And I'm like, part of the Carrot Cast is going to be me recording content that I want my kids to listen to someday. So why is there so much stuff that's not about real estate investing in there, but about life? It's because I'm speaking to my kids. I'm speaking to my kids when I'm doing that. But it's also it's just as relevant to you. And so that's why I do it. The podcast is part of my legacy building. What can you do today to start creating a legacy with your kids if you have children or your friends or family? Those things in the 24 hours, I want you to do in the next 24 hours. If you don't, you're going to carry baggage into 2019 that's going to stop you and hamper you from living the most fulfilling life you want to live, from being the person you want to be, from achieving the things you want to achieve. Those things are stopping you from doing it. And I can guarantee you when you do it, you're going to feel so much better. All right, y'all, you willing to take that challenge? And hopefully there's people behind the keyboard with tears running down their eyes right now. Honestly, if there's not, you didn't engage in the exercise. really hope that there are people are with tears running down, because that emotion is going to help you crush it and live an amazing life in 2019. That emotion should be there. That emotion should be there. If you're not feeling the emotion, you didn't dive into your psyche enough, and you really didn't dig up that stuff enough. That is the most important stuff that you're avoiding right now. All right. So as we go into 2019, and I'm gonna walk into my life planning exercise, and we'll start cascading it all down here pretty quick now. The rest of it's gonna go pretty quick. Is just recognize this, that everything you focus on in 2019 takes your mental energy and physical time. Okay? That new toy you bought takes your mental energy and physical time. All that junk in your garage takes your mental energy and physical time. The 5 cars you've got take your mental energy and physical time. I'm not saying to not have 5 cars, just recognize that they take mental energy and physical time, and recognize that there a trade-off. All the different projects you're working on, the 4 different businesses you're working on, the 1 business you've got, but the 14 different marketing strategies you try for 30 days, say they don't work, and start a new one, those all take focus and mental energy and time. If you start and stop and spread yourself around like this is really common. This is something that I go through cycles and phases where I find myself like this all the time, and I'm going through one right now. So going through this annual planning process myself is really helping me to make sure I'm putting my energy toward the most important stuff again. Because life just it's almost like we're almost like a ship sailing through the sea, and barnacles attach themselves to the bottom of our boat, right? And barnacles are these things that kind of, you get 1 on there and it's like, oh, yeah, I don't really feel that. You get 2 on there, I don't really feel it. But barnacles like breed other barnacles. And before you know it, you have 8,000 of them on there because you let 1 on there, right? But if you scrape the barnacles off all the time, then you can really sail through the sea a lot faster and a lot better with a lot more focus. And so let's make sure to focus more of our energy on the right stuff. So this right here I got out of a book called, I think it's called Essentialism. And where most people sit is over here on the left side, like I said. And one thing I want you to recognize is this. There's 2 circles there. One says energy, one says energy, right? Both of them, same size circle, but they have a clear difference. One of them has a bunch of lines going out of it. One has just 1. The one thing that I want you guys to recognize is this longer line here is the exact same length as all of these shorter lines combined. Why does this matter? When we go out there in life and we start doing this little thing, we try this marketing method, we try this business, we try this thing, we try this diet, we try this diet, we try this, we try all these things. We're spreading our finite energy. I talked about energy earlier. If you're hitting energy crashes at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, you even have less energy than I do to put towards this stuff. And that's where I was. That's where I was, y'all. Okay? So if you're hitting energy crashes in 2 or 3 in the afternoon, you even have less energy to spread out there, which is crazy important, getting more energy this next year. Okay. So if you're living in that world of less energy, and you're spreading things out between all these different projects and all these different initiatives and these different businesses and all these different relationships, instead of going deep on 1 or 2, you're probably going to have a tough time reaching your goals in 2019. As soon as in 2012, I had like 5 or 6 different businesses going, thinking that being a quote unquote serial entrepreneur was cool, right? Because that's kind of the badge of honor that we wear. And in 2012, I read the book, The Pumpkin Plan. And the Pumpkin Plan, I've seen a bunch of people already popping in here that, hey, that I followed you on Instagram. Hey, I've tagged you to this. I'm going to pick 5 winners from people who are going to Instagram, following me on Instagram, and then taking a picture of one of the slides you resonate with the most, tagging me to it, and then hashtag Carrot Epic 2019, hashtag Carrot Epic 2019. I'm going to give you five people at random from that, the Pumpkin Plan book. When I read the Pumpkin Plan book in 2012, I had realized how much of my energy I was spreading out across everything. So then at that moment I said, hey, I'm going to trim down everything. I got rid of 2 businesses. My main income stream I got rid of. Okay. I sold that business to my business partner. That sounds fancy, but it wasn't, because I just said, man, I love you and I don't want to create any rift between us. You tell me the price you want to buy my half for, and I'll say yes. I won't negotiate at all. He offered me a price way lower than I was expecting, but I said yes with enthusiasm. He even spread it out over 5 years. Like, it was way lower than I was expecting, and spread out over 5 years. I didn't even quote. I didn't flinch. I'm like, let's make it happen, because I knew that I needed to get my energy back. I need to get my focus back. And that year in 2012, I said, I don't know what I'm going to focus on, but I'm going to focus on just one thing this year. I'm going to focus on one business this year, and I'm going to do everything that I can possibly do to do my best that I can humanly do in that business to see how far I can take it in 1 year. I'm going to pick 1 or 2 marketing methods and just do them the best that I can possibly do them and dig deep on them and go deep on them, not try 6 or 7 different things. And then I'll look back at the end of the year and I'll go, okay, let me see how this worked. And if it works, I'll then say, hey, do I want to do this the second year? And then I did it the second year. And that was carrot, y'all. Like that was carrot. And then carrot started to work and we go, okay, well, shoot, let's maybe the third year. Can we be the best in the world at this one thing? I hadn't started any new businesses by this point. Hadn't got any other things distracting me by this point. I started clearing off all the other stuff, focusing on one thing and going deep. What happened over the next 4 to 5 years? By focusing on one thing and going deep with it and focusing on 1 to 2 marketing methods. The first 3 years of Carrot, it was 1 to 2 marketing methods. That was it. Okay, so many of you are trying to do 4, 5, 6 different marketing methods and you're not good at any of them. You're spreading all this energy, all this money out there, but you're not getting deep. You're not working through the tough parts of those marketing methods to make them work. Once we started making those crush it, then we added on another one, then we added another one. Because I did this in 2012 and 2013 and 2014 and today, we've built one of the fastest growing companies in America. If I would have continued to own 4 or 5 different companies thinking it was cool to do that, I can guarantee you we wouldn't be anywhere where we are right now. Okay, you only have one go around. Are you using your time wisely while you have it? If so, focus in on one thing. Okay. All right, now here we go. Clarifying the life's vision. If you're on last year's call, this vision story exercise is the same one I still use. This hasn't adjusted at all. I love it. It's something that is just one of my cores that I keep with. But one thing I didn't mention last year is my life list, and I forgot that was a core part of what's really helped me in my life in a big way. So if you go to trevormock.com/life-list, or just go to trevormock.com, you'll see a life list link up there in the top. You're going to see my life list. And I wrote my life list in 2010. And there's a lot of things on there. There's 101, I think, on there, or maybe 80 something. I wrote it in 2010, and there were some really ambitious things. There's some simple things. Like you'll see some things like, take a full day kayak trip. Cool. I'm like, that's something I could do tomorrow, right? So you want to make sure your life list isn't just big, huge, BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal stuff. A lot of it should be just things like interesting, cool things you want to experience in your life and do. Okay. Some big ones like hang out with Richard Branson on Necker Island. That's going to happen. The cool thing is it only takes money. Like I can go do that right now. I can plunk down $50K in this mastermind and I can go hang out with Richard Branson for a week. So that's just a decision. I know I can do it. I just don't want to do it yet. Right. So that's the first thing I would suggest you do is sit down over the next week or so and start slow. If you're someone who's more of a checklist person and you're kind of not really the creative type, you're probably gonna have a tougher time with this. Your list is probably gonna be smaller. Don't beat yourself up over it. Okay. My wife is the same way. She really struggled to create her first life list, and it's only about 10 or 15 items, but it was cool because it's 10 or 15 items. Another benefit of having your spouse do this is it's amazing for gifts and presents, right? When you see their life list and imagine helping your friend, helping your spouse achieve a life list item rather than getting them a trinket. What if you could help them learn to play the guitar if that's on their life list? What if you can buy tickets for them for their favorite concert because that's a person they want to see before they die? What if you can help them learn a skill that they've always wanted to learn? Those are amazing gifts you can give your spouse. So work with your spouse on their life list as well. But sit there and write as many things as you can on what you want to do in your life. Who you want to meet in your life, where you want to go, where do you want to travel in your life, what do you want to learn in your life, who do you want to impact, what impacts do you want to make, what achievements do you want to have, okay? And go through and do several passes at it. I usually look at my life list every quarter or so, and I look at it and go, oh, shoot, I want to add something to, or oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I achieved that one. I just did that literally a week or two ago where one of my life list items was grow an Inc. 505,000 company. When I wrote that down in 2010, I had no clue how that would happen, no clue. And I honestly doubted that it would ever happen, right? So these items should not be ones that you're 100% sure you can get. They should be ones that you're putting down out in the universe and you're aspiring to have happen, okay? So that one I wrote down, growing Inc. 505,000 company. I had no clue how that would happen. And this year we were the 699th fastest growing company in America. Made the Inc. 505,000 list, and we were honored as the fastest growing software company in Oregon. Why? I don't know. It's just like the universe happens that way when you write it down. So create your life list first. You can look at mine as inspiration. Next, this is what works for me anyway. because I'm more of a visionary. I'm less of a checklist guy. So I love stories. Who on here loves stories? Nod your head, raise your hand in the background. Who loves to read stories? The ultimate story, the most exciting story that I've ever read is my own. And that's how yours should be too. The most exciting story that you should read is your own story. Okay, is your own story. And here's the way that I do it. I take out my orange notepad, and it's usually on airplanes, on flights, because I have hours of uninterrupted time. And this is how I start. I just start in story format, and I go, okay, 25 years from now, I close my eyes, and I go, okay, I'm 36 right now. In 25 years, I'll be, quick math, whatever that is, right? Actually, I do 20 years. I don't do 25 years. So reverse that's 20 years is what's on mine. That's also easier math. So then I'll be 56. So at 56 years old, where will I be? Then I literally start my story from the morning that I wake up. When I'm 56 years old on December 29th, 20 years from now, so that'd be 2038, December 29th, 2038. What does that day look like? What time am I waking up? Where am I waking up? What does my house look like? What does my view look like out that window? What is the view that's going to inspire me that I want to work towards? What's my bedroom look like? Who am I waking up next to? What do they say? What sounds am I hearing? What's the first thing I do when I wake up? Where do I walk? What does that look like? What's the first thing I do with my morning routine? Who do I talk to in the morning? What's breakfast look like? At that point, my kids hopefully aren't going to be in the house anymore, because my youngest will be 24 at that time. But where are they at? Are they at college? Are they traveling? Like I literally, I'm envisioning where my oldest daughter, just knowing her personality, she's probably gonna be traveling. Where's she gonna be traveling at? My youngest is probably gonna be in college or just out of college and probably interning somewhere. She's a spitfire. Like she's gonna be doing some cool stuff. She's probably gonna be interning at some really big, cool marketing company or something like that. My little boy loves animals. He's probably gonna be on a farm somewhere. You know, it's like where are they gonna be? If I call them that day, what conversations do we have? What do I do later in the day? What does my work look like? When do I start working? What does that work look like? What work do I do that day? Now you guys can see where I'm going here, right? How detailed I am. The reason I do this is because it comes true. If you can't write a detailed vision, a story of your life vision, it's gonna be really, really hard for you to create that and craft that in your life. Make this story exciting. Don't do it in bullet points. Okay, this is one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of people make, and I know it might be really hard for many of you, but bullet points are not a story. Okay, how many of you would love to read a book that's bullet points? And you would what if Harry Potter was bullet points, right? Or whatever your favorite book is. What if your favorite book were done all in bullet points? How wrapped into that story and excited about the story would you be? I know I wouldn't be. Right? So write a story, literally moment by moment for that whole day. What work would you do? What would that look like? Who would you be working with? Okay, what time would you go to work? What time would you leave work? What types of projects would you be working on at that point? What does your income situation look like at that point? Do you have multiple businesses? Do you just have one? Do you have a business partner? What's the business do? What type of business does it do? What type of impact are you making with that business that you would really be pumped about? When you come home, who do you come home to? What do you come home and what types of conversations do you have? What does your evening routine look like? What types of things are you reading? Like literally my 20-year vision story is about 4 or 5 pages of single-spaced written story, just like you see in the picture. Okay, that's probably going to take you several hours, might take half a day. And for me, when I do that in flights, like I said, and I let it marinate, I go back and read it. I might adjust it a little bit. You don't have to write it. I love the tactile of writing, but you can type it out. I know a lot of people that type it out because it makes it easier to edit, and that's cool too. That's the way our carrot vision story is. It's all typed out in Google Drive. But then do it for 10 years. Okay, so 10 years out, when I'm 46 years old, what will my life look like at that point? In order to lead towards the 20-year vision. And I do the same thing. What does the day look like? Well, who do I wake up to? What does it look like? What does my life look like? The whole thing. Then I map it back to 5 years. When I'm 41, what does all that look like? I do the same thing. I write on the day, on the daily basis. Each one of these gets shorter. My 20 years the longest, 10 years a little bit shorter, 5 years a little bit shorter. And then I go to the 1 year. And this is your 2019. The reason it's important that you do this, I hear a lot of people say, never set goals longer than a year because you don't know what a year is going to look like. And I agree with you. Like you shouldn't set goals that you're holding yourself accountable to, okay? But you should set a vision. You should create a crystal clear vision in your mind on exactly what your life is going to look like in 12 months. You should create a crystal clear vision in your mind of exactly what you want your life to look like in 20 years, in 10 years, in 5 years, whatever those are. Okay? So that's an action item I want you to do later this afternoon. Do it this next week. Whatever you have to do, this right here is one of my keys to life and achieving it. Now, I want to show you this picture. Okay, I wrote my first vision story, I think in 2012, when I was going through that big transformation in my life, and cutting clutter and getting rid of things and pumpkin planting my life and having that urgency and sense of mortality and finding out my unique abilities and focusing more on the things I'm great at and less on the things that drain my energy. And I wrote in my vision story that I want to wake up in a place that inspires me. I want to wake up with a house on a body of water that I just love at my core. I want to wake up to amazing sunrises that just inspire me. I want to wake up to a house where I not only love living in the body of water, but I also love using it and recreating in that body of water. And 2 years ago, my wife and I bought a house, 3 acres on the North Umpqua River here in Oregon. Amazing river, my favorite river potentially in the country. Amazing fly fishing, amazing recreation, and a crazy great views. This is a picture out my kitchen window on a sunrise about a month ago. This is what I get to wake up to every day now because I wrote it down. Because I had a crystal clear vision of exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I wanted. When we started looking for houses, I wasn't thinking specifically about this house or about the vision, but I knew that I'd read that vision story so many times in the past 4, 5, 6 years. It was a given. It was just going to happen. It wasn't I hope this happens. I'd read the vision story so many times and got so excited about my vision of my life that it was a given. It was only a matter of time, not a matter of if. Here's my front yard, part of my front yard. Okay, my kids go down there and swing in that swing all the time. Adrian on my team has been here. I think Adrian's on this call. He's been at my house several times. We have parties out at the house, things like that. We have a huge manicured yard with a whole stream running through it. Chicken coop out there. Guest house, play place up on the side. Front riverfront property, about 500 foot of riverfront property. A boat launch. We're putting in like a little riverfront park on the other side. Y'all, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this to say vision works. I'm saying this to say the vision works. Okay, in a big way. Paul says the North Umpqua is world class and national treasure. You're 100% correct, man. 100% correct, Paul. And Paul is actually my coach. Paul's my coach, my trainer. So I want you guys to write your vision stories down. Don't be this guy or gal. Okay, so many of us, the goals that we write down are always financial. Let's say I want to chase this money. I want to chase this money. I want to chase this money. And if we're chasing the money to the end of our life and we're hoarding this money, but we didn't have anything to live for it, or we didn't have anything to show for it, that's not fulfilling. That's like the worst version of myself that I could ever imagine. Don't be that person. This is what I really define my success as now. A man or woman's success is measured by what his wife or husband and children say about them. Money and accomplishments mean nothing if you let your home fail. Okay? What do you measure your success by in 2019? Is it by the money? Is it by the metrics? Or is it by the impact? Is it by the feeling? Is it by the fulfillment that you get? And running a company that can give you true freedom, flexibility, and impact while it's growing your finances. All right? So that's an action item for you either today, later today. Write down that 20-year vision. Write down the 10-year, the 5-year, the 1 year. Okay, that's going to help you really map your year. Because if you don't have a vision, y'all, like even in business, we have a 5-year vision for Carrot. We could not make our annual plan if we didn't have a 5-year vision. We couldn't do it. We could not do our annual plan effectively if we didn't have a written 5-year vision. Because it all starts at the 5-year vision. It all starts with looking at where do we want to take this thing? What impact do we want to make with this thing? Why are we even doing it? What does the business look like at that point? What do the people look like? If you're a one-man or one-woman show right now, you guys should still write a vision for it. Even if you don't have any employees, could you envision yourself growing a company with employees? What would they look like? Who would they be? Okay, if you've had a tough time with employees and you can't find good people, look at companies who do have good people. Emulate them and go, maybe I haven't figured it out, but I'm going to figure it out. I need to find the who, not the what, not the how. Okay, so do that for sure. Now I'm going to be drilling down into the annual plan, the quarterly, and we're going to wrap this puppy up. Okay, so first off, there's no one right way to do this. I think it's really different depending on the goal and the phase of your life. So let me toss this out to you right now, y'all. We're about 3/4 of the way through this call right now, and I'm going to be taking Q&A here, probably about 15 minutes. But has anything right now, let me know through the questions panel, what has jumped out to you so far during this call that has given you conviction to change something in 2019? What in this call has jumped out that has completely spoke to you? Put that on Instagram, hashtag carrot epic 2019, tag me to it. You'll enter into that drawing for the books, but also just let me know because I want to know what's working for you guys in this call. I want to know what's not resonating with you guys and gals. I want to know, are people paying attention? I know there's hundreds of people on this call. It's a Saturday. You might be listening while you're doing something else. Someone says urgency. What else popped through for you guys that is something you need and are going to 1000% execute in your life in 2019? Not next week, but today. What else popped through to you? The urgency again. Any other concept resonate with you during this? How about that exercise, the one day, 1 week, 1 year to live exercise? Did that hit any of you at your core that's going to create change and going to create some actions for you? I'd love a brave person to jump out here in the chat panel actually and let me know what were those things that you typed in for the 24-hour period. What were those things that you typed in for the 24-hour period? Let me know, and if you're cool with it, I'd like to read them. I won't reveal who you are, but I'd like a brave person to type in what you would do during the 24-hour period, because I want to read that to other people, because all of us are in the same boat. Okay, that stuff in the 24-hour period is the most important stuff in there. Okay, Kevin Clancy says the importance of a longer term vision. Man, Apple Computer. I know someone who has a brother who works there. They just wrapped up their 7-year planning. Now we shouldn't be doing 7-year planning. Okay, we shouldn't be. But Apple's doing 7-year product planning right now. If we can't even do a 5-year or 10-year personal vision, and Apple's planning what iPhones to make in 7 years or whatever, it's like how are we going to change the world? How are we going to change our world? How are we going to achieve our greatest vision? If Apple every year planned that next year's products right before the year started, how successful would they be in innovating? Not very much. They'd be always trying to keep up. And that's what so many of us are doing, is always trying to keep up. We're not trying to build towards a vision. We're always just trying to keep up. Another person says, motivational timeline for entrepreneurs was especially poignant, a little gut sinking. Yeah, right? That's the thing. If any of you guys are in a phase where you've been in business a few years, if any of you have been in business for a few years and you found yourself kind of lacking purpose now, it's probably because your purpose previously was financial related and you don't have that need anymore. Your purpose needs to be something greater. And that's why we focus so heavily with Carrot in on impact, in on giving, and on creating and changing people's lives, because that's what excites us. That's why we get up to do work. It's not because of the money. It's not because of the money at all. If someone offered me $15 million for this company tomorrow, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it. All right, awesome stuff here, y'all. So back to the presentation. All right, so I took these screenshots literally yesterday from 2 good friends of mine that posted on Facebook. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because there's all these different methods for planning out a year to make your year amazing. The thing I want you to know is they're effective at different phases of your life and for different needs. Okay, so make sure if the one that I'm going to be walking you through resonates with you, amazing. If it doesn't, maybe follow something else. But Lisa said starting a giving program, that resonated with her. I love it. Even if it's $100, like just do it. Start that giving program. Okay. So this one I hear from a friend of mine, Brad Costanzo. He starts off by permission to brag a little for my own benefit. 2018 will be difficult to top. Had my share of setbacks, frustrations, and headaches. I've had days that really tried me. But as I sit on reflecting on 2018, I can look back proudly and hang my head high, which isn't always the case. Here's why. Worked with amazing people doing amazing things, made new friends and deepened bonds with others, built a house in Mexico for a family with Frank, the legend Shamrock, and some kick-ass women. Had helped Frank's speaking career, helped relaunch Frank's speaking career while partnering on some big initiatives. Worked with Morrow, a guy to help build his brand. Conducted strategic ideation intensives for multiple companies, helping them create innovative growth strategies. And better yet, not a single goal was achieved. Look, let me read this again. Not a single goal was achieved. And he said this is probably his best year ever. Okay? Not a single goal was achieved because not a single goal was set. Now, here's a theme here. Did I set a goal in physical fitness? No. Am I in the best physical shape of my last 10 years? Yes. Am I anywhere near where I want to be? No, I'm not at all. But I didn't set a goal. And the reason I was able to achieve it is because I didn't set a goal. I set a conviction, I set an aspiration, I set a vision. Okay. And then what happened was I did exactly what Tony Robbins says. I raised my standards. And I'm like, all right, what do I need to do now? My standards are raised now. Now let me go live that. Okay. So he said, nothing against goals. I just think goals are over worshipped. I prefer aspirations with shorter term goals and sprints while staying open to opportunity and serendipity. My aspirations are to be fully engaged in the work I put into the world while having fun with what I do. Work with people who inspire me, make really good money. Mission accomplished. Notice that nothing about those are SMART goals either. I have some big aspirations for 2019. I have some goals as well. Some will happen, some won't. Some will be surprises, which I will welcome enthusiastically. I love this post because this is the opposite of what a lot of people say and teach, and even the opposite of some of the things I'm going to tell you. And the reason I'm saying this is because I know Brad. I know him really, really well. I know what he's been through the last 3, 4, 5 years. I know how he set goals and disappointed himself around those. So the phase he's in is where I was in 2012, making a fundamental life shift of, you know what, I don't really care as much about the number goal now. I care about, am I living me? That's where I was in 2012. I'm going to go through it again sometime soon, probably. That's where he is now. When you're in that phase, get rid of the financial goals. Get rid of those goals. Set an aspiration, write a vision story, but then write down non-negotiables. Write down aspirations like he did and just say, hey, these are going to be my guardrails for the year this year. Okay. And then if the finances happen, awesome, they happen. You need to release the pressure when you're in this part of your life. Okay. When year after year after year after year after year, you're not working in the way that you want. You're not as fulfilled as you want to. You're not hitting your goals. You don't have a clear vision on how to hit them. If you're in that spot, which some people probably are, release the pressure in 2019. Do what Brad did. Okay. Maybe don't set specific goals around some of the stuff. Maybe do, maybe don't. But your biggest one is find these non-negotiables and live those. Wake up and think about those every day. And you'll be surprised on what you actually will achieve that year. Here's another one. Mark Evans, good friend of mine, huge real estate investor, entrepreneur. Here's a little mind trick for you that I started in my 20s. At the end of each project I'd complete, whether it be a rehab, writing a book, new product, etc., I treat myself. When I was starting out, I'd head out to the best steak joint in town. When I started to grow, I'd buy a new watch. Today, I just wrapped up another big project that I've been working on daily for over 3 months, which I'll tell you about later. And I purchased a Range Rover to add to this all. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm telling you because you need to do this too. Okay, I'm not saying go out and buy a Range Rover yet, but you need to reward yourself after you successfully complete a project you start. I see lots of folks start projects, but very few complete them. By dangling a carrot, I like that word. By dangling a carrot in front of you, subliminally to push yourself to complete projects and meet deadlines. It's not selfish. Actually, it's the furthest thing from selfish once you truly understand how the game is played. Okay. Does this mind trick work? I'd say so. He took a picture of his Range Rover. The reason I wanted to show this one is because this is at a different phase of your life as an entrepreneur. So Mark has set specific goals. Okay. He's in a spot where he feels more fulfilled than not. He's in a spot where he has a business with a great team that lets him do more of what is his unique ability. And he understands what his unique abilities are. Okay, where Brad is right now is where I was probably 2012. You might be in that spot. Okay, but if you're where Mark is, and this is where I am as well, where your finances might be there, setting another financial goal probably doesn't motivate you maybe. So what should it be? It should be rewarding yourselves around big projects that are important to you. Okay, so I'm writing a book right now. When I wrap up that book, I'm going to celebrate with something to reward myself. I've been looking at this watch for years. I'm not a guy who pays. I don't buy stuff for myself. Okay, so but this time I'm going to buy this really nice watch I've been looking at for a couple of years, and it's going to be my celebration when I finish the book. So if you're in that phase and you need motivation to get projects done because your finances are already where you want them to be, then you need to dangle those carrots in front of you. So use that method. Okay. Now let me introduce you to Ikigai. Ikigai is an ancient Japanese phrase for a reason for being. It's the thing that gets you up in the morning. This changed my life in 2019. Take a screenshot of this one. Carrot Epic 2019, hashtag it, tag me on Instagram. This one here is a big one that changed my life. Okay. With Ikigai, and I walked through this one on a presentation with people recently. With Ikigai, there's these 4 parts of your life. And we're definitely going to run over time a little bit, y'all. But are you guys cool if we run over time a little bit? There will be recording of this. So you can always come back. I know it's a Saturday. If you have things to do on the Saturday, come back. There will be a recording. There's the downloads of the resources are on carrot.com/epic/live. Okay, and I'll walk you through how to use them here in a bit. But I've gotten a little bit passionate about some of these topics. I've ran a little bit long. You guys cool if we go a little bit over 2 hours? Is that cool? No, you're good. Sweet. So there's 4 parts of life that help you really live a life that that you're gonna love. There's a part of what do you love? You know, doing the things that you love. It says yes! Exclamation point. Keep going. Awesome. So there's 4 parts, and this is how Ikigai is basically you being in your flow. It's you being fulfilled. It's you being exactly like lit up in life. And we've all been there. We've all been in Ikigai. But the thing is, many of us are not in Ikigai very often. Okay, so how do you get in Ikigai often where you're just lit up, you're on fire, you're in purpose, you're passionate? It's by finding a balance between these 4 things in your work. You're doing what you love. You're doing what you're really good at. You're doing what you can be paid for. You found what you can be paid for. And you're doing something the world truly needs. Okay, when you're doing all of those at once, you're in Ikigai. Now, I'm not in Ikigai all the time. It's probably a 50-60% thing right now. I want to get it to 70 or 80%. It was probably 50-60%. If you would have talked to me 7 or 8 years ago, it would have been 3%. Okay, so this right here is where most entrepreneurs on this call are probably sitting. Is you're probably doing what you're good at. You might be a real estate agent, you might be a real estate investor, you're good at it, okay? And you're getting paid for it, so you're doing what you can be paid for. The world needs it because people need to sell houses and people need to buy houses. And so the world does need this. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying you for it. But you might not be doing what you love. Okay, and I'm not talking about your occupation. Okay, I know a lot of real estate agents who are miserable. I know a lot of real estate investors who are miserable, but they're good at it. They're getting paid well for it and the world needs it. I also know a lot of real estate investors who are lit up on life. And I know a lot of real estate agents who are lit up on life because they found a way to work what they love into their work. So for me, 7 or 8 years ago, I was really good at what I did. I got paid really well for it. The world did need it, but I didn't love it. I wasn't waking up in the morning fired up about the work that I was going to be doing because I wasn't doing the things that were my unique ability. Okay, I wasn't doing the things that were my unique ability. I wasn't doing the things that gave me energy when I was done doing them. And so with Carrot, I started to go, okay, how do I work in things that I love? I love to be creative. I love to do things that are fun. I love to connect with people. I love to do these right here. I don't get paid for doing this call, y'all. I love it, though. It gives me energy. Why do we make dolls here at Carrot and send thousands of them out per year? Because it's fun. We love to do it. It doesn't make any sense financially, but it's fun to do. Why do we have Carrot Camp? It's because it's fun. I love to do it. It does not make sense for us to do Carrot Camp financially, but I love to do it. We intentionally bake things into our business that give us passion, that give us mission, that help us make money. We're really good at these things. The world needs them, but we love to do them. Okay. So a lot of people are just doing the 3 things. They're good at it. The world needs them and they can get paid for them, but they're not doing what they love. You might be feeling a sense, you might be comfortable, but feeling a sense of emptiness. Is anyone comfortable, but feeling a sense of emptiness right now? Let me know through the questions panel. If you are, that's very common for entrepreneurs because you haven't intentionally found ways to work in the things that you love into your business. Okay. If you love talking with people, how do you talk with more people in your business and get someone else to do the things that you don't love? If you absolutely love drawing and art, but you're a real estate agent, how do you work in drawing and art into that? Could you start to draw your own infographics, or could you start to do a piece of art for every house that you sell and give it to them? What could you do to work that into what you love? Every single person on this call can live an Ikigai, and I want you to do it. Okay. I'm going to kind of buzz through some of this stuff here. Okay, so this right here is important. Take a screenshot of this, #CarrotEpic2019, and I have a whole training I'm going to be doing on Ikigai sometime in the first quarter of 2019. Okay, so for me, my personal plan is first, that's what I've really been going through. It's how do I get the personal side of it first, the mindset side of it down, and then we dive into the business side. And those 3 steps for the personal are the vision story, this Dreams Now worksheet, and the energy audit. Down below this video on carrot.com/epic/live, you're going to see my new updated Dreams Now worksheet. I'm just going to spend a couple minutes on this here. Then I'm going to go to the energy audit, and then we're going to go into your annual plan. And I know, like, so this is lasting a little bit long, so people got to bounce, but come back and bring this up at that point. But go download the Dreams Now worksheet. It's completely free. You don't have to opt in for it. What I want you to do is write down your most important things you want to work on. So take your 5 F's exercise we did earlier and write down the things you need to work on inside of here. Okay. Do you want to work on in family and relationships? What things do you want to do and work on in 2019? Okay. In pleasure and leisure, what do you want to do in 2019? Spiritual or faith, what do you want to do in 2019? Education, personal development, what do you want to learn? What do you want to grow in 2019? So take an hour or so next week and write out the things as you're brainstorming from your vision story. And then those most important three, awesome. Lisa says, I actually do what I love. I love it, Lisa. I love it. So the most important three, I want you to put on the second page of the Dreams Now worksheet. Those are the primary three I want you focusing on for 2019. Goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 3. Okay. If it's health and fitness like mine was in 2018, I didn't write it down, but I said, this is going to happen. Okay. If it's a financial goal, write it down. And what are your action steps to get there? And what are the due dates of each action step? Okay. So that'll help you kind of map some of those personal goals. And then we'll start to move into this now. This is an exercise I do on every quarter. The Dreams Now I do every year. This one I do every quarter, the energy audit. Who on here ever gets to a point to where you feel like you're frazzled, to where you feel like you're doing a lot of work that doesn't light you up, but it needs to be done and it drains your energy? We all do, right? And I just did my energy audit a couple days ago for the year. And what I want you to do is download that worksheet sometime in the next week, carve out 15 to 20 minutes is all. And this is going to help you make sure that you're gauging and driving your actions in your business effectively in 2019 towards things that give you energy, that get you an Ikigai, okay, that get you an Ikigai. When you're an Ikigai, you're going to be lit on life. You're going to be so happy and fulfilled, okay? So on the left side of this, you're going to write down things that give you energy. This is business, this is work, this is life, the whole thing, business and life, okay? Could be working out. It could be having conversations with certain types of people. It could be certain types of activities. For me, things that give me energy, I love doing this. I love teaching. I love training on topics I like to talk about. I love to create. I love to create things like creatively. I love to think strategy. I love strategy. I hate implementation. So anything implementation wise goes into my drains energy side. Okay, so fill up your gives energy side of things that give you energy in life right now and give you energy in work. What things give you energy? You have more energy when you're done doing them than when you start. Then go to the drains energy. What in your life or your work right now drains your energy? You have less energy when you're done doing those things, even if these are the things that make you money, especially if these are the things that make you money. Okay, because what happens, we oftentimes trick ourselves into thinking, well, shoot, this makes me money, therefore I should be doing this all the time. This thing makes me money, therefore I should keep on doing this. That was exactly what my energy audit looked like in 2012. 80% of the things drained my energy, only 20% gave me energy. No wonder I wasn't loving what I was doing. No wonder I wasn't full of passion and purpose, because I was doing so many things that were draining my energy on a weekly basis. And so I looked at it and went, well, I can't eliminate these because half of them are the things that actually pay my bills and put money put food on the table for my family. How do I stop doing these and start doing these other things that give me energy but don't make me any money right now? And all that I did is there's actually instructions on the energy audit to walk you through how to do it. But basically you do this. You circle the 2 or 3 things that are draining your energy the most, that you want to get off your lap the most. Write down how many hours per week each one of those activities is draining your energy, okay? One of them for me, I've got it here in front of me, but I found about 5 hours a week of things that are draining my energy that I need to get off my lap right now, okay? So circle those. Those things are the very first thing you're going to put on your schedule in 2019 to get off of your lap, either to find a process to automate it out, to give yourself permission to stop doing it, or to find a person to do it, okay? The next thing you're going to do is, if that added up to 7 hours, let's say, of those 2 or 3 things that drain your energy, the most, you want to get rid of, go over to your gives energy column and circle 1 or 2 things over there that you're going to start doing with that extra time as you get rid of those energy draining activities, and you're going to work those into your schedule. Over the course of a year or 2, if you do this every quarter, you're going to start to trade energy draining activities for energy giving activities, and it's going to change your life. This 10x my income and massively ramped up my happiness in a course of about 2.5 years. Okay, all because of the energy audit, because I've finally looked at, okay, what's draining my energy? Life is about where your energy is going. Life and income in delivering your stuff to the world is about where you put your energy, what gives you energy, what drains it. The more you can do things that give you energy and the less things that can drain your energy, the more your income is going to go up, the more happy you're going to be, the more energy you're going to have, all of it. Do your energy audit this next week, okay? And then I like to theme my year. All right, I'm just going to buzz through this. So now we start the annual planning process. I know I'm buzzing through this, y'all. We can give you guys the slides. If you follow me on Instagram and then ping me, direct message me, I can send you a link to my slides. You've got to follow me on Instagram and then direct message me. If you want the slides, let me know, hey, I want the slides. I'll give you the link to the slides. Okay, then I start my annual planning process. So by this time, I have a really good clarity on what I want to do for that year at the personal level, what I need to work on the personal level. So many people just do business planning. They don't know personal planning. And you can have the most amazing business year, but you can be miserable. We don't want that. Okay, so during the business side of things, make sure you're carving out the time to really sharpen the saw, sharpen the axe, like Abe Lincoln says. Okay, I'm going to present this ceiling of complexity concept and then introduce you to, yep, for sure, Kevin. Have an awesome time, man. Thanks, buddy. Says, great job. Looking forward to reply. Awesome, buddy. Thanks, Matthew. So the ceiling of complexity. You know what, y'all? I'm gonna bounce past this. I'm gonna do a special podcast on ceiling of complexity. Okay, go to Carrotcast. I don't want to bulldoze you with too much today. This is a pretty deep topic. If you're hitting a spot right now where you feel like you can't bump through that ceiling, you're like, why can I not bump through that ceiling? It's because you're hitting the ceiling of complexity. Go subscribe to the Carrotcast. I'm going to do a podcast on that here soon. All right. So let's go and do this. So where are you going this year? Okay, choose a big vision for the year. If you were to look back in 12 months at the end of the year, 2019, that had passed, what would have had to happen in order for you to feel that year was a success for you? What would have had to happen during 2019 for you to look back and go, man, this year was great? What would it be? What steps would have had to happen? What would your team look like? If you have a team, what actions would you have taken? What would that look like? And I always like to start with the brainstorm. I start jotting things down. I whiteboard the crap out of them. I get messy. I mess things up first, and then we build them back up. And if you haven't done your annual planning retreat yet, if it's just you, awesome. It's just you. You probably won't need 2 days. You'll just need 1 day. If it's a team, you'll probably need a couple days. But this is my agenda that we follow. We've kept on refining over the years for our annual planning agenda. Day one is we review and reflect on the year first. What goals did we set and what actually happened? Let's celebrate the things. Like Mark Evans said, let's celebrate those wins. What caused, and then also on the flip side of it, what caused us to not reach those goals? Okay, what opportunities and threats could kill your business? The market's shifting. Okay, the market's shifting. What opportunities and threats could kill that business? Okay, and then also I want you to go through an expanding exercise. I'm going to actually go, 1 second here. I've been drinking so much water, y'all. Go give yourselves a bathroom break. I'm going to give myself a 60-second bathroom break, and I'll be right back. All righty, we're back, y'all. If you haven't had a chance, stand up, shake loose a little bit. I'm gonna get through this. I'm having a blast. There are lots of questions coming in, good stuff here. So day one is all about reflecting, reviewing the goals versus reality, celebrating those wins, just like giving yourself that massive pat on the back. Then also look at the ones that we didn't hit and go, why did we not hit those goals? Why did we not hit them? Write those down. And then, like I said, I always like to look at opportunities and threats. What could kill the business? This is something so many people don't do. And so many real estate investors and agents should for sure be doing this right now as the market's shifting, is what could kill your business or really stifle your business in 2019? There's a lot of things. The market adjustments. Are you diving deep into Carrot and the online side of things? Because that's going to be more and more and more plentiful in 2019. And then next we do something I call the expand mindset exercise, 10x exercise. Okay, and that's basically just, what would your business look like if your income 10x? What would your business look like if your transactions 10x? What would your business look like if your team 10x? And it starts to help expand things out, so you go, okay, well, these are some things I would have to do in order to make that happen. And then you contract it back in. Day two is all about forward thinking. Okay, day one's backward thinking, day two's forward thinking. And it's goals, setting financial and other trackable goals. Some of them should embarrass and scare you a little bit. And then what do we need to do to make that happen? Are there any people that we need to plug into place? Are there any processes that we need to get in place? What projects need to happen? Then I theme it. Okay. And this is the way that we do it here at Carrot. Is we actually I'll just go ahead and share mine right now. This is very private stuff, so this is the first time I've ever really showed this before. But basically, we take all that planning stuff, and I know I'll buzz through this, but we take all the planning stuff and we put it into a waterfall like this. Okay, we've got the vision, our company vision at the top. We have our annual goals right there. We have the big rocks. You know, what big rocks do we need to focus in on to make that happen? So what are the important things that have to get done in order to make that happen? And then we break it down by quarter. So we only do that as we go in. So we do our annual planning like this. Okay, we do our vision, our top 4 or 5 goals, the big rocks, the big things we got to do that year to make those goals happen. And then we start to plan our quarter. Okay, during the quarterly, what we do is, what year are we looking at here? Let me go to 2018 here. Then on the quarter, I'm going to show the one for 2018 actually. Okay, so here's the 2018 right there. So for the quarter, as we go into a quarter, then we go, okay, let's look at the annual goals. Let's look at our progress up to this point, and then let's set our goals for the quarter. How many members do we want to get to? You know, what's our revenue? What big rocks do we have for the quarter? Things like that. Okay, so your annual plan should really be pretty simple. What are your big goals? What are your big rocks? What basically that's it. And then as you do your quarterly planning, make sure your quarterly planning maps to your annual. Okay. And it kind of looks like this. This is how your waterfall looks like. Your vision is at the top of it. What are those critical numbers or goals that you have for your company? For a real estate agent, it could be closings. It could be revenue, commissions. For real estate investor, it could be deals. It could be average profit per deal. It could be total revenue. So pick probably 2 to 4 numbers that are your critical numbers at the top. And then next, write down those 3 to 5 things that are the big rocks you've got to do to make that happen. One of them could be launch online marketing and scale it. One of them could be build out my team. One of them could be, something like that. Okay. So that's kind of how your annual should look. Do it all on one piece of paper or put it on a web page like we've done it. And then when you do your quarterly, it's the same thing. You just do your quarterly numbers. Okay. You do your quarterly rocks and then write down the projects you got to do that quarter to make it happen. Okay. So now we've gone through mindset. We went through the life side of it. We went through the annual planning really fast. I know I went through that really fast. You can follow me on Instagram, DM me for the slides. I'll get you the slides so you can go through it. And then we went through the quarter as well, really, really fast. I know I didn't go through it deeply there. It's not meant to go through it deep on the quarter side of it. And now it's the daily. How do we really keep track on the daily basis to make sure that we actually achieve what we want to achieve? Okay. And I really appreciate everyone sticking on. There's still hundreds of people on this call. Over 2 hours on a Saturday morning, y'all. You guys are troopers. Okay, so we're within 10 minutes of wrapping here. Some mistakes I've made. Okay, I've chose a big yearly goal like a BHAG that was so big that I couldn't reach it, and it was debilitating when you don't hit your goals. Okay, over and over again. Some mistakes I've made before, or you might have made. Your goal or big focus is kind of vague. It's not specific enough. Okay, what I talked about with Brad Costanzo, he's in a phase of life where that makes sense. Okay, but once you get through that phase, he'll probably shift back into a phase where he puts in specific numbers. Okay, only do goal setting and themes once a year. You should be doing this quarterly. Okay, go through and look at your vision story quarterly. Go through and revamp and look at your annual goals. Okay, what do I have to do this quarter to make it happen? And a lot of people give up on their goals by March, and then you end up in December on an epic planning call, wondering why you couldn't hit your goals. Okay, and what I started doing is I started breaking it all down in chunks, like I mentioned on the quarterly. So break it down into 90-day chunks after you set those annual goals. Okay, what are the things I have to do this quarter to make those goals happen? And what are my quarterly goals that feed into the annuals? Okay, and work those puppies backwards. And the way that I then track our progress on that is I use a scorecard. Okay, this is a picture of our scorecard for this year, and just kind of have one for one little section for each important part of your business. We have 20 some odd employees, so our scorecard's way bigger than yours should be. But here's an example of one for an investor. Okay, so here's Stan, here's this person, here's the marketing person, here's the lead manager, here's sales, here's the COO. They all should have different metrics that they report every week. Okay. And you can actually go download this exact scorecard. It's one from Sean Terry. If you go to Sean Terry's website or go to Google and type up real estate investor or wholesaler KPIs Sean Terry, you're going to land on this right here. Flip to Freedom episode 115. Okay, Flip to Freedom episode 115. You're going to land here and there's this big button here. I don't get anything from sending you here, y'all. You go here, you download this scorecard, and it's got this entire scorecard for you. Okay, and I'll pull up the scorecard right now. I'll share it with you really fast and can answer any questions here. But it's really, really hard to achieve what you want to achieve that mission that you want to achieve, if you then don't have a way to track progress on the daily basis or weekly basis. So this is what a house flipper, a house wholesaler scorecard may look like. And you can download this from Sean Terry's website. Just go to Google Sean Terry, SEANTERRY, KPIs or wholesalers KPIs or something like that, or wholesaler scorecard. Okay. So what it should look like is there should be metrics for each person. They should be very specific. They should be tracking the key things that matter. These are the real ones that are for these types of roles. So this is a great scorecard if you're a house flipper or wholesaler. And then those persons should report those metrics every week. Okay, and that's it. And they should be reported against the goal. So if your goal is, as an example, leads per week is to have 14 leads a week, then they report 12. You go or 2. Go, whoa, shoot, Stan in marketing. Why are we at 2 leads a week? Let's go hop in and figure out what we need to do on the marketing side to get that back up there. Because if we only get 2 leads a week, we can't hit our goals for the year. Okay. So go download that scorecard, go create your own scorecard, whatever you would like to do. But that'll really help you massively to then go achieve that stuff. Okay. Okay. Let me share this again. All right, sweet. Does anyone on this call have a scorecard right now? Does anyone on this call have a scorecard? I'd be kind of curious to see if you guys have a scorecard or not. Okay. The next thing, and this is the very last thing here, is surrounding yourself with an environment to win. Okay. So when you walk into the place that you're working, whether it's your home or it's an office, what does your environment look like, y'all? Because on the daily basis, things are attacking us all the time. We're trying to stand out. We're trying to do the things that we had set clear intention on in January to crush it for the year. But in February, but in March, but in April, but in May, but in June, things clutter our minds. Different distractions pop up. We have to surround ourselves in our environments to continually get us back on the right path. So here at Carrot, we actually take our goals, take our roadmap and print it on the wall and put it on our wall so we can see it every single day when we come in. We can't forget it. Okay. The next thing that I do is I also put up little cards like this that help me remind me of some things. The focusing question from the One Thing book. What's the one thing I can do such by doing it, everything will be easier or unnecessary? Okay, put these things in front of you so you can remember them. Or I put canvases on my wall for my yearly themes. Action Expresses Priorities is my one from recently, like I said. Put canvases on your wall for your themes to inspire you. Put pictures on your walls that inspire you. Put your core values on your wall for your business. Write your core values down, put them on your wall so you believe in them. Every single Carrot team member has our Carrot core values poster on the wall. Every single Carrot team member has a canvas on their wall with an inspiring quote. Okay. We want to surround our team members with things that inspire them. Okay. That's the first thing. So when you walk into your office and you sit down, first of all, you got to have triggers that inspire you. Next thing is, how do you then be organized on your day-to-day? I've got my organizing sheet. You can download it on this page that you're on right now. Go to carrot.com/epic/live and you can download this sheet right now. And I use this most every day. When I don't use it, I'm off. When I do use it, I'm crushing it during the day. But the first thing I do is I sit down and write the date. And then I write down a list of I do a brain dump. What are all the things that I need to probably be doing? I brain dump them. And then from there, I move them up here to doing. Okay, this is brainstorming, and then this is doing. Okay, and I try to order them in importance of priority. It doesn't always happen, and I don't always put the time allowed. When I do, it works way better. But at least if you brain dump it and then put them up here, that's great. But before I do this for the week, I always make sure that I have my items for the week nailed. Okay, how do I do that? I've got my habit and goal tracker worksheet. So let me just share this with you. Okay. So this right here is my routine habit and goal tracker worksheet. Okay. I borrowed it from my friend, Matt Aitchison, who crushed it this year. And I said, dude, how'd you do it? Like, how did you wake up at 4:30 every single day? Even if you went to bed at midnight, how did you crush this fitness goal? How did you crush this? How did you crush this? He's like, dude, my goal tracker worksheet. I said, can you share it with me? He said, yeah, for sure. And so I got permission to share it with others. This is straight up from Matt Aitchison. He's an amazing real estate coach. He's an amazing investor and an agent. He's just an awesome dude. So I appreciate you sharing this with me, man. And what I went through, and I kind of borrowed some of his. Okay, so my morning routine and evening routine. And I borrowed some of his. Mine's a 5:30 wake up, and then there should be things that light you up. What gives you energy? Physically, do something in the morning physically. Down a bunch of water in some way. Get your mindset right in the morning, okay? So these are some of the things that I like to do. And then there's the basics, brushing your teeth, then looking at my power list. What is your power list? Your power list is the things that you need to do today. It's this, okay? It's this. So when I do this, I crush it. When I don't, I struggle, okay? But I look at my power list that I had created the night before. You can see that's that right there, okay? That's that right there, right? That's planning the next day. So in the evenings, when I go to this part, plan the next day, I create my power list, which that's what are the things I need to do tomorrow that lead up to the things I need to do for the week, that lead up to the things that are my objectives for the month. Okay, so this right here is the one big addition I made in 2018 that helped me crush it. I need to be way more consistent on it than I am, but when I do this, it's just phenomenal. So I take this thing out every single day, twice a day. Okay, every single day, twice a day. In the morning, I open it up. That's the first thing I open up rather than social media or anything. And I look at this and I go, okay, let me start chalking this stuff. Let me start knocking these things down. And the cool thing is I color code them green or red, okay? I color code them green or red. If I did them, they're green. If I didn't, they're red. There's no yellows, okay? It's either green or red. And the reason that I love the colors is because you can visually see what habits are being created and what ones aren't. If I get to the end of the week and it's something like this, which this is a real week. This is October 29th, okay? This is a real week. I could see, obviously, this habit of meditation isn't happening. What do I need to do to get that habit happening? Okay, this habit with water, cool. It's a habit, but it's not every day yet. How do I get it every day? This habit here, audiobook reading, awesome. What am I doing that's making that work? What's the trigger that is making that habit work? And how can I create a trigger for this, for the gratitude and for the journaling? Okay, so I love the colors here. All right, but the way that this works is go through, use mine as inspiration, but create your own morning routine, create your own evening routine. If you do these, you're going to be lit on fire and you're going to be crushing the day. You're going to be knocking down your goals left and right. The next thing you do is for the month. Okay, for the month of January, type up your top 5 goals for the month. These top 5 goals should feed in for your goals for the year. Okay, these should feed in for your goals for the quarter. Okay, so what are the things you have to get done this month in order to hit your goals for the quarter and to hit your goals for the year? Write those down. The next thing is, what are your top 5 goals for the week? What do you have to do this week to put you on pace to nail these things this month? Okay, it doesn't mean you're going to be doing all these things this week. It means you're going to be doing some of those next week and some of those the week after. But what do you have to do this week? And if you don't do these, you're going to get behind on your monthly goals. If you get behind on your monthly goals, you're going to get behind on your annual goals. Okay, and then I go every day. I go when I come to plan the next day. I look at these. I go, okay, man, I haven't done anything on that. Is that still important? Or man, I've been letting busy work get in the way. Okay, finish book. Now let me get something down here about finishing the book. Okay, get 2 chapters of book written today. Okay, cool. So look at all this. Do I have enough time? Okay, if I don't have enough time, bump it out of here, bump it to a different day, maybe bump it to tomorrow. Okay, but then this is what I really take for the day. When I walk in my office, I'm a tactile guy. I don't have my phone up in front of me all day to look at this. I walk in, I pull this up, then I literally write it down on this piece of paper. I know it sounds like a lot of steps, but that's the way it works for me, guys, and it crushes it. The whole process takes less than 15 minutes a day. Less than 15 minutes a day. Okay, I update this in about 10 minutes. Okay, I write this in probably 5 to 8 minutes, and that's my process, y'all. I have my monthly, I have my weekly, I have my today's power list, I have my morning routines, my habit tracker. The reds means I'm not creating a habit. If I'm not creating a habit, I type under here areas of improvement. What do I need to do? Right here, I recognized I wasn't getting in bed. I wasn't getting in bed by 10:30 for many days. Let's look down here, okay? So get in bed by 10:30. Look at all those reds, red, 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 red. Why is that? I wasn't putting my phone in the bathroom. Like that was literally the reason, okay? I was taking my phone to the bed, and my trigger is, okay, I will get to bed sooner if I put my charger in the bathroom and I put my phone in the charger in the bathroom. Then I get to bed on time. Okay. So find those trends and then look for the areas of improvement and go, okay, what's the trigger that's going to make that easier? What's the trigger that's going to make that easier? For me, the bedtime was putting my phone in my bathroom and my phone charger in my bathroom. Okay. What's next? What were some other struggles that I've had? Waking up by 5 or 5:30. Look at that. Didn't do it. I wrote down area for improvement. And it was literally, if I could get in bed by 10:30, I would actually be waking up earlier. These correlate. Look at this. These correlate. Okay. These correlate big time. And also, praying and planning the next day correlate. If I get to bed late, I tend not to give myself time to plan the next day or pray. So these all correlate. And then you can see the next day, look what happens here. This was my Wednesday. Look what happened Thursday. Look at that, y'all. You can see the impact of your bad habits clearly with this habit tracking worksheet. You guys like this? You guys can download this right now on carrot.com/live. I'm sorry, carrot.com/epic/live. You can download this right there. And this is what yours is going to look like. It's already got your January and February built out for you. I've kept in mine in here for you to kind of give you a jump start. That's what Matt Aitchison did for me. And then just each week, you do one each week. Okay, we've got one for week 1, one for week 2, one for week 3, and then one for week 4. Okay, and then when you get done with January, just go ahead and move it out, go to February. And then when you want to do March, you just go to this template. Okay, and then you just go go duplicate and then name that March. Then that way you're going to have all of your habit tracking stuff. I actually have this on my phone. If you've got an iPhone, y'all, do this. If you have an iPhone, or it doesn't matter what it is, Google obviously will do it too because this is a Google product. But download Google Sheets, and I actually have my routine in habit tracker right there at the top of my Google Sheets because I open it every day. You can see I opened it December 28th. That was the last time I opened it. I didn't open it this morning because I was prepping for this. But then it brings it up. It's taking a little bit because I'm piggybacking off my Wi-Fi from my townhouse next door. But it brings it up, and I've got it right there. So this is actually what I use. I don't use the computer version at night or in the morning. I pull it up on my phone, and I zoom in on it. And it takes a little bit more time to do it on your phone, but it's at least handy, and it's there. And I just select the color. I change the color of that one to green. So bam, I just change that color to green, and I go. And like so, that takes me about 10 minutes in the morning. Okay. So that's my process now, y'all, to keep track of my habits, to really crush my habits on the daily and the weekly basis. That really has been helping me in a big way. Okay, so I'm going to be wrapping today's call. This is the very last slide right here in good timing because my wife just texted me as well because I'm over time. But this is the last slide I'm going to share with you here about this. And I'm going to share, if you guys follow me on Instagram and DM me, I'll give you these slides. And I'm breaking it all down right here, okay? So here's some of the habits that changed the game for me. Giving me more energy. I'm working out 5 times a week now. I'm drinking 70 ounces of water. And the trigger for me with the water is getting a jug that's 36 ounces and putting that water glass by my sink in the morning. And I stopped eating after 8 p.m. I found out me eating after 8 p.m. was killing my energy and killing my sleep. Being more centered and present. What habits did I create with this habit tracker? Phone in the bathroom at night and in a box by the door when I get home. When I don't do that, I find myself not being present. To be bed by 10:30, I haven't been good at that the last week. But when I am, I'm crushing it the next day. And then reading in the AM and PM helps me be present more rather than looking at social media. Replace social media with reading. Okay. Next is being more productive at work. What happened? How did I be more productive at work? What's the trigger? I planned out the day and week ahead of time. I use this habit tracker. This habit tracker helped me be more productive at work. When I use it, when I don't, I struggle. And also, I shared this habit tracker. This is a trick for you. You can share this habit tracker document with someone to help you be accountable. Share it with your assistant. Share it with your friend. Share it with your spouse so they can look at it and they can help you be accountable. These are some of the habits I was able to create this year that helps me have the best year that I've ever had physically, best year that I've ever had in business, all that stuff. Okay, it's all about habit triggers. Okay, one of my habit triggers is in the morning. I have this YouTube playlist. And it's just up there, and I click on one of those videos, and I listen to it. When I listen to one of these things in my YouTube playlist, it fires me up for the day. It gets me more present, gets me more centered. It gets me so I'm not looking at stuff that helps me get cluttered for the day. Okay? So here's the 5-step process I walked through. I blew through a lot, y'all. I don't expect everyone to remember this. I don't expect everyone to come back and go, oh my gosh, Trevor changed my life in 2 hours. What I do expect you to do is take 2 or 3 of these frameworks and use them. If I were to just give you 2 or 3 things total, the thing is not everything works for everybody. So I wouldn't be serving you very well. What I do is I give you everything that I do, and it's a lot. Okay. But when you break it down, it's not a lot throughout the year. Okay. So here's what it is. Your mindset practices. Set a YouTube playlist and open those things up before you open up social media. Listen to a YouTube video. Create a mindset playlist and listen to them every day. Okay, that's a mindset thing. Surround yourself with an environment that inspires you. Get quotes on your wall. Get your plan and goals on your wall. Okay, read your vision story as often as you can. Anytime you get in a funk, read your vision story. Okay, that's mindset practices that help me. Also, mindset practices that I shared that were right on my goal tracker. You can download my goal tracker for free. It's got some of my mindset practices on there. Number 2, so that's a daily thing. That's a 15 to 20 minute thing a day. Okay, everyone should be doing that. Number 2 is clarifying your life's vision. Okay, that's an annual thing. Okay, I write that thing out. That maybe takes a couple hours a year. Okay, I update it, I read it, I get inspired by it. If you're writing yours for the first time, it may take you 3 or 4 hours, it may take you a day. That's cool. It's an annual thing. Everyone can spare a few hours or a half a day for a year to change your life for decades. Okay, the next thing is you got to raise your standards. What standards do you need raised right now to be the person you want to be in 2019? Write those down. Convict to it today. Raise those freaking standards today. Pick one. Okay, number 3, create an ironclad yearly plan. This is something I do the Ikigai, or I do the energy audit quarterly. That's 15 minutes. Okay, so on the quarterly basis, that's 15 minutes. I do the 5 Fs on a quarterly basis. Not all the time. When I don't do it, I struggle. When I do it, it's awesome. But the 5 Fs is a 5-minute process. So that's 20 minutes right there per quarter. Everyone can do the energy audit and the 5 Fs every quarter. That's 20 minutes total. Okay. And then the annual plan is really, probably a day. Okay. Pulling away a day. Like Abe Lincoln says, if you had 6 hours to chop a tree down, he would sharpen the axe for the first 5. Okay. Are you sharpening the axe for the first 5? Or are you just swinging away with a dull axe for 6 hours trying to chop it down and using way too much energy and effort and not achieving your goal? So the annual planning is a day. Okay, create that waterfall. It's another couple hours. What is the waterfall? It could be literally a piece of paper you put on your wall. It's got your vision at the top. It's got your top 3 or 4 goals, like number-based metric goals at the top. It's got your 3 to 5 big rocks. What are the important things I've got to do this year to make those goals happen? That's it. That's your waterfall. Okay. And then every quarter you pick up that waterfall and you block out a couple hours every quarter with you or your team. You go, hey, these are the goals we set for the year. This is what we need to do this next quarter to reach those goals. Create a waterfall for the quarter. Hey, here's the big rocks we need to do for the quarter. Here's the goals for the quarter. Here's the big rocks for the quarter. And then here's some projects we need to do to reach those big rocks. Okay. So this all does look like a lot when I cram it into 2 hours, but this is all spread across the year. You don't need to do this all today. And then keeping course during the year is every single week you update your scorecard. Your scorecard should map to those quarterly goals. Okay, those keep you accountable and your team members accountable to reaching your goals. You use that productivity sheet and your habit tracker to keep you on course. Okay, you pull this puppy up right here. You pull something up right here, and this is what keeps you course on the daily and weekly. Make sure you have your goals for the month there that map to your quarterly goals. Your quarterly goals map to your annual. Make sure you have your weekly goals. You do those on Sunday night. Okay, do these on Sunday night. And then these you do every day. You do these at the end of the day before you go to bed. Okay? And then what I do, because I like the tactile, like I said, I take these and when I get to the office, and then I write them down on the actual productivity sheet. And then just work on finding more mindset and habit triggers. As you're going throughout the year, find the ones that are continually red and go, why are these red? Do I actually want to do this? If I do actually want to do this, what trigger do I need to put in place to ensure that I'm going to meditate? Well, maybe I'm not meditating because I'm not getting up early enough. Look at this. Not getting up at 5:30, and not getting up at 5, not getting up at 5. Of course, I'm not going to have time to meditate or do my journaling or do affirmations because I'm not getting up early enough. So why am I not getting up early enough? Well, let's look down here. I'm not going to bed on time. Okay, why am I not going to bed on time? Well, I don't know what it is. I ate sweets those 3 days after 8 p.m. Cool. That's making so I'm not going to go to bed on time because I'm wired on sweets. Okay. I didn't eat a healthy meal, so therefore my body's working too hard. You can see patterns here, right? Those are the patterns I want you to be analyzing this next year. Okay. So go to Instagram, follow me on Instagram, hashtag #CarrotEpic2019. I can't talk anymore. Hashtag #CarrotEpic2019. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. I'm going to pick 5 winners this weekend. We're going to ship you the Pumpkin Plan book. I'll reach out to you directly on Instagram and DM you and get your address. But I so love and appreciate y'all. There's still 100+ people on this call. 2.5 hours in. My wife is texting me, I got to go. We got to drive back home to Roseburg, a 3-hour drive through the snow. But follow me, y'all. I'm going to be posting a lot more things behind the scenes of what we're doing. We're on a path to really to make amazing things happen in 2019 with you. Okay. If you're already with Carrot, you want to save some money, go to carrot.com/save before the end of the year to get your last minute tax write-off in. That's going to save you 20% from paying monthly, and you're going to be able to save on taxes. Go to carrot.com/save for the end of the year. And then go to carrotsummit.com and sign up on January 9th and 10th. I'm streaming live for 2 full days with 11 plus of the top investors in the country, walking through what their plans are to stand out in this market ahead, what their strategies are. Day 2 is all about lifestyle. It's about building a team. It's about building a company that gives you time freedom. Day 1 is about driving more traffic leads and closing more deals. This is a free summit. We're wanting to get you guys prepared for 2019. We're going to do another real estate agent one in the spring or fall. We haven't decided that yet. But go to carrotsummit.com and sign up there for free. Carrot.com/save to get your last minute tax write-off and upgrade to annual. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Have an amazing, amazing time. I have time for a couple questions if you want. If anyone has any questions, let me know if you have any questions. Oh, what's up, Paul? Awesome, man. Paul said, awesome. Thanks, buddy. Paul said, thanks. Have an awesome day. Thanks, you, buddy. I'll see you Monday. Workout. Kevin, thanks, man. Yes, buddy. I appreciate you big time. How'd you guys like this call? What were your main takeaways from this call? Lots of good stuff in here that people have already put in here. Let's see. Here's another one here. Oh my gosh. Someone says, literally found out during the exercise that we did, that life exercise, that the person's cousin, a couple years older, very likely has stage 4 breast cancer, along with cancer on lungs, bones, colon, and liver. She went in for a cough last week. Definitely hits home. Oh my gosh. I'll be praying for you in Orlando, Florida. I'm sorry. But that right there, that's why I want you guys to do this. Okay, that's why I want you guys to do this. This is a big deal. This isn't about leads and deals, y'all. This is about you guys living the life that's going to leave a legacy and make an impact. Lisa, thank you. Lisa says, thank you for all your time and knowledge and a great product. New Carrot user here, but I already love it. Be safe driving. Thank you very much. If anyone's looking for that habit tracker worksheet, let me share my screen really quick again. And then I'm going to bounce before I get killed by my wife. We were supposed to leave a little bit ago. So I'm going to go to carrot.com/epic/live. And if you're on the page right now, which 100 plus people of you are, right here. So there's the daily productivity sheet, okay? And then there's this where it says, or use my habit and goal tracker worksheet here. So you can download the Dreams Now worksheet. That's for your annual, hey, what do I want to tackle this year personally? The energy audit, use that quarterly 15 minutes. That helps you make sure you're doing more energy work that's going to get you an Ikigai more and going to light you up. So that's going to 10x your income and your happiness if you do it. The daily productivity is what you do on the daily. So you can see the cascade here. This is annual personally. This is quarterly. This is daily. Okay. These are all personally here. Okay. The business ones, I walked you through those business processes a bit ago. But download this for if you're a tactile person and you want to write your stuff down. And then this to help you track your habits. Okay. I love it. Awesome. Great content. Thanks, Trevor. Safe travels. Hope you feel better. Inspired to improve my health habits. Please do it. Do it for the sake of your family. Do it for the sake of everyone around you. And I guarantee everything else is going to be amazing. And you're in Roseburg, I see. So reach out to Paul. Paul Eckel, he's our coach. He's been the guy that's got us dialed in. So reach out to Paul. I know he's taking on more clients. Thank you. Yes, it's great stuff. Love the scorecard. Thanks much for the prayers. Safe drive. Awesome. Well, you guys have an amazing, amazing, amazing rest of the day. Finish out your year strong. Okay, like I said, I don't expect you to implement all this. I don't expect you to remember all this. What I do expect you to do is live with more urgency in 2019 and do at least 1 to 3 of these new habit things and grab some of these frameworks and use them, okay? Have an amazing time. I'm going to be seeing you guys this next year. Have a safe New Year's. I love everybody's our epic planning calls have always been 2.5 hours. Every year I say I'm going to do it in 90 minutes this year, and I don't. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Have an amazing time. Talk soon.